Hi, everybody! Welcome to Nature Check's Arda Campaign, the show where you come for the game and stay for the science. This is our 30th episode! Yee!
Ah,
30 episodes. That's a lot. We've been doing this for
yeah.
a while. It's very exciting. Hi, I'm Sheryl, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm the dungeon master for the Arda Campaign, and I'm also a PhD student studying ecology at the University of Illinois at Chicago. When I'm not doing research, I'm also a science communicator and the host of the Roving Naturalist on YouTube. Next, we've got Nancy.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nancy. I'm an entomologist, which means that I study bugs, and I live in Ecuador, where normally I do tourism, except for during COVID, of course. I play a roguish young woman by the name of Kay, and our pronouns are she, her.
Then there's Peter.
Hey everybody, my name is Peter. I am also an entomologist. I get paid to teach people about agriculture, and I study agricultural pests. Um, when I'm not doing all of the various nature check activities, I take photographs and currently still remodeling my house. So that's ongoing. Tonight, as always on Arda, I will be playing Cedric, our resident dwarven cleric, and our pronouns are he.
Okay. Then there's Ryan.
Hello, I'm Ryan. I am a plant doctor, sort of. I currently dabble in all kinds of different areas, from plant pathology to horticulture, botany, entomology, all the things that go into taking care of plants. I work in public gardens, so it's all about keeping plants alive for conservation efforts and education for the public. And in our game, I play Fletcher, a human wizard, and our pronouns are he, him, his.
Then there's Joe.
Hi, I am Joe. I am a PhD student at the University of Wyoming, and I study how beets hurt crop. Actually, you know what? Or how weeds hurt crops. So, little stream exclusive. This right here is a sugar beet. It's responsible for like 30% of the sugar that we eat, and we are studying the effects of the light reflected from that grass onto the beet. It's responsible for 30% of yield loss in agriculture, and I'm trying to figure out exactly how that happens. I play our resident barbarian, Lucanus, and my pronouns are he, him. Lucanus's pronouns are he, they.
And then there's Cindy.
Hey, I'm Cindy, she, her. I'm a science enthusiast and play an Andorian engineer over on Heroes of Awesome Constellation on the Weirdlings Twitch and YouTube channels. Here, I'm playing Nautia, the water method druid.
All right. If you're watching us live right now, thanks for being here. I already see a ton of activity happening in the chat. Hi, Eric. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Sufgenism. Welcome. As always, if you have any questions for the cast, make sure to put them in the chat so we can respond. And of course, be sure to check the reference section down below for the social media handles for the entire Nature Check cast. Don't forget, if you're not able to watch us live or you want to share us with your friends, you can, as always, find the sessions for our TTRPG games in video form on our YouTube channel and in podcast form everywhere. Follows, subscriptions, comments, shares, and reviews really help us out on all of our platforms, so thanks for doing those as well. Just an update, I said TTRPG games instead of what I had been saying previously about our campaigns, because we're adding some one-shots to our schedule to try to get even more guests on the channel. So tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, Peter and I will be joined by Chelsea of Chelsea Herps and Did You a Knoll on Twitter, and we're going to be playing a one-shot of the Wagadu Chronicles, an Afro fantasy supplement to D&D 5th edition. So we hope you'll come back and hang out with us tomorrow morning, so Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, to hang out and play that game. Anybody else have any channel-related announcements and things? No?
No. Ask an entomologist, as usual. And there is a Twitter thread for Nature Check upcoming. The internet is just really weird.
Cool. Well, then let's get started. Everything changed when the gods left Lacedes. The world became a complicated place. For almost a century, people fought with one another and struggled to find new ways of being. The loss of the gods also made the continent of Arda newly accessible to the outside races, and humans from Tenebria established New Seychester as an outpost city on Arda's southern shore. In the spring of 972, 4 young people from different lands encountered one another in New Seychester. Though their alliance was first formed out of necessity, curiosity, and coin, they have now come to trust and rely upon one another as they explore a strange new world. Fletcher, a human wizard, collects samples and takes copious notes about everything they encounter in Arda, as he hopes to publish on his discoveries and make a name for himself. Cedric, a dwarven cleric, came to Arda to share the word of Moradin, but in the meantime, he's met a lot of new and diverse people and learned to rely on his friends when the going gets tough. Lucanus, an elven barbarian, seems either to be running from or towards something, but he hasn't let his dark past prevent him from working with and protecting his newfound companions. Kay, a roguish young woman, is new to the violence and adventure of the broader world, but her desire to make a difference and do the right thing to help the people she cares about pushes her forward. And Nautia, a mephit from the elemental plane of water, was trapped on Arda while partying when the loss happened. Now that the river she relies upon has become poisoned, she's teamed up with this unlikely group of adventurers to save her home. After spending the night in the Muriam village of Flosagri, you woke up, purchased some arrows, crossbow bolts, and trail rations, then headed back out of town. You attempted to reorient yourselves to the assumed path of the underground river and continued traveling north. Due to an astounding number of natural ones and lack of foresight on the DM's part, nothing much happened over the ensuing days, giving you ample time to think about, talk about, and pursue food. It is the morning of Pelorum, the 28th and final day of Bloom Run, and you have just woken up after a night of sleeping through a thunderstorm. Lucanus is soaked from keeping watch, Fletcher and Cedric are soaked through and sore from trying to sleep outside in the rain all night, and Kay is nice and dry from sleeping inside Lucanus's tent. The rain has ebbed to a light drizzle, but the clouds in the sky seem to indicate that it's not stopping anytime soon. What would you like to do now?
What's the environment that we're in right now?
What do you mean?
Just what's around us? How close are we to the desert?
You're still in the grasslands.
Okay. All right. So, how long do you guys think it'll be before we get to, that big desert thing?
I don't know, but it can't come soon enough because I am sick of this rain.
You don't like it, Cedric? What? You've never experienced rain before?
No, I mean, I've experienced rain like several times. It's really terrible. I mean, like, water should stay where it belongs, right? In rivers. Like, that's why, dwarves were meant to live protected from the rain, right? We were crafted by Moradin to live in the ideal place in the whole world, which is underground, protected from the rain. If there were some decent tunnels around here, we wouldn't have to suffer this indignity that is having to wring out our shirts every morning.
Lucanus,
it's getting washed.
Lucanus whispers over to Kay. He's just mad because dense things sink.
Nautia has sort of wandered off to forage for some breakfasty things, but is also very clearly playing with the water that's still on the grass and if there's any puddles and just having a grand time.
Oh, it is beautiful out here. Like I said, it's still lightly raining, but yeah, there's just drops of water everywhere. There are puddles in some of the low places. Yeah, it's a great time for you.
Nautia is just supercharged with plus 20 extra HP. Just
Not exactly, but if she were getting hurt right now, she'd be healing at.
She'd have regen cast on her, just constantly.
She does also just look a bit happier than you've seen her the last few days.
Kay looks at Nautia playing off in the distance and looks down and sheepishly kicks a puddle. It seems to have no effect, though.
All right, so Nautia, you're foraging presumably for good berries again. Do you guys want to continue traveling north today?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What?
Was it a rainstorm or was it a full-on thunderstorm, like lightning and?
So it started raining last night, and you guys set up camp kind of as it was raining, and then partway through setting up camp, it turned into a thunderstorm, and it was just torrential downpour and thunderstorm for a good portion of the night. So it was very difficult for the two of you who were outside sleeping to try to sleep. It is now no longer a thunderstorm. It sort of ebbed off in the morning during Lucanus's watch. Yeah, but there was thunder and lightning. Very, very frightening.
Okay.
Why is this what it's like being in your 30s? It's like I'm sore all over.
Cedric, you are in your 30s.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like you turn 33 and your body just falls apart.
Like sometimes you wake up.
Starts hurting and doesn't stop.
Sometimes you wake up and your arm is just numb from the shoulder down.
Yeah.
It's like,
am I having a stroke? Sleep on any big rocks. Sorry, Fletcher, you were about to say something.
Ryan was gonna say, Peter, why did Fletcher choose to sleep outside?
Because there wasn't an alternative.
I think, it was either like sleep on top of Kay or sleep outside.
Yeah.
So it was like a one-person, like tiny pup.
We only have one tent.
Yes.
Lucanus is the only one with a tent.
Well,
I know of.
It's a two-man tent. And Lucanus and Kay were both in it while Lucanus was trancing, and then Lucanus came out to take watch, and nobody said that they were going to dive in there and sleep with Kay.
Yeah, cool. So Kay took up the entire tent to herself, like the princess she is.
Yeah.
Totally start fishing.
Sorry, Fletcher.
Well, if there's no lightning, Nautia's gone now, but if the lightning is stopped for now, when Nautia's back from her morning frolic, maybe she can check where we are? If we know how far we've come and how far it kind of looks to go, maybe we can estimate, like, is this going to be 2 more days or, like, 2 more weeks? Because if it's 2 weeks, we better reconsider what we're doing.
I mean, going slow at this point might not be a bad thing because, we're going to have to stock up on food before we go because, we don't know what that situation's going to be like in the desert.
90% of Lucanus's brain is thinking about food.
I mean, Sun Tzu, the most important part of an army, according to him, is the supply line. So Lucanus is well aware of this.
Fantasy Sun Tzu, who wrote Fantasy Art of War.
I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of analog.
Probably, but I'm not going to make it up right now.
just blame it on Volo. It's always Volo. The only person who writes anything.
Is Sauron in this universe?
No.
No? Okay.
I feel like you would have known that.
I feel like we would have too.
He kind of makes himself known. Anyway, Cindy, you were going to say something.
Oh, at some point, Nautia wanders back over with some forage, probably more berries and stuff, and takes a look in the direction that we've been looking at.
Give me a perception.
And
Ready.
Lucanus is ready with the cross.
Part of this that I wasn't set up for.
Lucanus is ready with the crossbow just in case, there's a big bird or something.
Not in this weather.
All right. That's 21.
Yeah, so at this point, when you go up, even though it's cloudy and raining, it's a pretty light rain at this point, and so you are able to see quite a ways, and you're just very good at looking when you fly up anyway. So yeah, you can start to see that the landscape is changing. The grass, you've all noticed this as you've been walking, the grass has been getting shorter, and Nautia, you can see the transition zone pretty well now. So you would estimate you're maybe like 2-ish days travel from where the grasslands transition into the desert. Yeah.
Now, share that with the group. Should be a couple days.
Can't come soon enough.
Well, if we're that close, should we all try to spend some time gathering food? I mean, if we kind of know things to aim for, this is Nautia, you've brought back things we can kind of use as our search image to head out. We could all try to gather anything we possibly can. Because I don't know how much we'll get walking if we're going to enter a desert that quickly. We'll run out of things pretty quickly, most likely.
You also used party funds to purchase a week's worth of rations for the 5 of you, and also Lucanus and Cedric got a generic antelope last time, so you have quite a bit of meat from that as well. It's not all cooked right now, though. It's just kind of like raw meat in a backpack, so...
Raw wet meat.
Raw wet meat. Do with that what you will.
Did we, try to smoke this and preserve it?
You did not yet because there was no fire last night. So there's just raw meat in your backpack.
Yeah. We should probably try to smoke this and preserve it so it'll last as long as possible. So let's,
I mean,
do we want to take a day just to gather more food and smoke meat and dry out?
Yeah, preserving the meat seems like that would be kind of important.
Yeah.
So that sounds like that could sustain us for a while before we have to get into the rations that are already more preserved. So I think want to make sure that lasts. If it starts raining again, we gotta make sure if we get a fire going, keep it protected if it starts raining again.
Yeah. So let's just take a day, start a fire, preserve the meat, maybe hunt, set some traps, and, do that as quickly as we can.
And then fast forward.
Yep.
Fast forward.
Okay, cool. So if you're taking a day, it's pretty easy not pretty easy. There's a lot of wet stuff on the ground, so it's gonna take some time to gather fuel, but yes, you can, if you're spending the whole day, find fuel and build a fire and start dealing with the meat. Is that's all you want to do, is just sort of have a day where you're making sure you're supplied?
Yep.
Okay. And then so you're hanging out at this campsite again for tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you setting watches again?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can take one.
Okay.
So, and then Lucanus will take the later watch.
Okay. Okay, so...
Are we keeping the fire going through the night?
That's a good question.
Probably, I mean, I don't think, just the day is probably long enough to really smoke something, so, let it go all night.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
You're, the watch is really just keep an eye on the meat, make sure it doesn't burn.
Yeah.
And if it was a whole larger animal, I imagine it would be most likely in sections, and that will probably take a while.
There's a lot of cutting it into little strips and
yeah, because you're gonna want it in relatively smaller pieces, not just to portion out, but also so that it dries out faster.
And because beef jerky is just wonderful. Antelope jerky too.
Okay, so you're doing that all day, and then Nautia, you said you're taking the first watch, and Lucanus is taking the second part? Okay.
Yep.
So Nautia, can you give me a perception check?
14.
Okay. So as it gets on towards evening, the rain stops, but it's still rather overcast, and it was very warm and muggy during the day while it was raining, and now that it's cooling off into the nighttime, you start to see a lot of mist, fog developing. So it does become more difficult to see. At the very least, mist obviously doesn't have an effect on your hearing, but it does become more difficult to see around you. But your watch goes pretty normally. You're doing the first 4 hours of the evening, and yeah, you don't notice anything. Again, the rain probably chased most of the things that would be around in the grasslands to some sort of cover. So yeah, nothing much seems to happen during your watch. And then you're switching with Lucanus?
Yep.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
All right. Let's see. Character sheets.
Another 14. Okay. Yeah, so like I was describing, it becomes very foggy in the night, and Lucanus, probably the equivalent of like 1 or 2 in the morning. This night after the rain is foggy, but you're still able to see something. You don't have dark vision, but you do have low light vision. But in the darkness and in the fog, there's a bright spot, a light, moving slowly through the mist, a good ways off from you, so you're not able to make out much detail, but you can see a bright spot of light sort of moving slowly, quite a ways distant from you.
Yep, I have my crossbow and my greatsword ready, but I'm gonna stay by the I'm gonna stay right by the camp.
So you see it moving, and after, like, a little while after you notice it moving, you can hear what sounds like choking crying, sobbing.
So I'm gonna go over and wake Cedric. Cedric!
What?
I think there's something out here.
Oh, something bad?
I have no idea.
Cedric leaps up and grabs his hammer. Where?
See that light out there?
And you do. You can see a light faintly through. Again, there's a lot of fog. It's very dark. And you can hear, when Lucanus points in that direction, you see the light, you can hear faint sobbing, crying, like someone's in distress.
Ooh. Yeah. Can I... I'm making sure that I don't have 5th edition in my brain.
Okay.
Can I use...
Oh, I know what you were gonna...
Yeah, I don't have like a divine sense, do I?
I don't think that's the thing.
That's not a thing in 3.5? Oh, man.
If you don't have it in your abilities, then...
Yep, I don't have it.
Aw.
And it probably wouldn't work anyways. Well, I don't know anything about weird mystery lights. Did you wake Fletcher up?
I mean, do you want to?
Fletcher!
All right, let's go wake Fletcher up.
I wake up, I roll over and immediately my hand just flies up and smacks you across the face.
Oh, son of a... Oh, my nose. I think it's... Is it bleeding? Lucanus, is it bleeding?
No,
Over
no.
damage.
I don't even open my eyes. I'm like, what could you possibly want?
There's something that we have to check out, so...
It hurts. Oh.
And the two big bad fighty boys couldn't go check it out on their own?
We got this.
backup.
We got this. We just want you to keep an eye on things while we go check it out. We're being responsible and not leaving the party or the camp unattended. Could you just make sure that the meat doesn't burn?
I just sit up. I don't get up on my feet. I'm like, fine.
Baby,
I'm just going to sit there and watch.
Thanks, Fletcher. So we're going to go and check out the light. And again, great sword at the ready, crossbow in hand.
Okay. So while you all were doing all of that, the light got farther away from you and the sound got more distant. So you're very far away from it and it seems very faint. But it sounds like you might want to pursue it. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
We're gonna get just close enough to see what it is, but stay within sight of the camp. Like if we have to run back there, we want to be able to do so very quickly.
Okay, so as I said, it's moving away from you. So if you're saying you want to get close enough to see what it is, but stay inside of the camp, that's not going to happen because it's moving away from the camp. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we want to follow after it, but try and be stealthy because we don't want whatever it is to see us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're not going to follow it for like a super long distance, but we want to at least, if we can catch up to it, see if we can.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that it's still going away.
Okay. So if you're going stealthily, roll me some stealth checks.
Oh.
I got a 12.
Okay.
Sorry. That is one of the ones that I always forget is not one of the standard. That's a 5.
Yeah. Okay. So a 12 and a 5. You think you're being stealthy, but it's kind of hard. Everything is, I mean, it's still relatively tall plants especially for Cedric, and everything's wet, so it's kind of hard for you to be sneaky.
Well, I had my armor like half off in camp, so I'm like kind of putting it on as we go, so it's kind of like clink and clink.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be sleeping in it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Lucanus, actually, can you do this strap here really quick? Just, no,
sure.
Tighter.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you follow it for a distance, this light and the sound of crying, and at one point you hear, it sounds maybe like a child's voice, and you're not sure if maybe they heard you. Hello? Is someone there?
Yeah.
And the light sort of continues moving. Are you going to continue following it?
No. Hey, what's going on? Are you okay?
You don't hear a response, but you do hear more crying. It sounds like almost kind of like panicky crying. Like you get the idea that this person might be lost.
So, hey, if you want to come over here, we might be able to help you out. Like we're out here too, so come over, be friendly.
Don't meta, Peter.
I
Calm
know,
down.
like Peter like hates this so much, and Cedric, Cedric is totally like, we can help you, we'll protect you, don't worry.
So the ground under your feet begins to feel a little softer as you continue your pursuit. You hear more sounds now than just the grassland insects you're becoming familiar with. These sounds are louder, bright, high-pitched whistles that you would almost think were birds, except for the fact that it's night. However, you're unable to distinguish much of your surroundings. Again, it's still very thick fog. Which one of you, are you walking side by side, or is one of you in front?
I think side by side.
Side by side.
Yeah.
Okay, gosh, I don't know. High will be Lucanus, low will be Cedric because of height. 3. Cedric. Suddenly you hear a splash and realize that your feet have entered a body of water. And I need you, Cedric, to make a reflex save.
Ooh, okay. My speciality.
I feel
That's
like
an 11.
An 11. Okay, I feel like Ryan knew what this was, the moment I started describing it. Okay.
I do not know what this is. So.
I don't either.
All right, so an 11, you splash into the water, and all of a sudden you feel something slap you on the face. It's very wet. A very big something. And all of a sudden there are multiple of these big wet somethings slapping you all over your body. And they pull you down into the water. And you are now grappled and being held underwater. So you can hold your breath equal to a number of rounds, a number of rounds equal to 2 times your con modifier. So that is how much?
My con modifier is +2.
Okay, so you can hold your breath for 4 rounds, which means you get 4 rounds to, I'm assuming you would like to escape the grapple that's happening.
24 seconds? That's it? Man, Cedric needs to work on his cardio.
You have armor on, so you have...
That doesn't affect how long I can hold my breath.
Well, and you were just
and you're
bragging about
panicked.
living underground where there's no water and how great that is. So why would you be great at holding your breath underwater?
All right, fair
Totally have practice holding your breath. Yeah.
enough.
All right, so I'm assuming you'd like to try to break the grapple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can make a strength check or an escape artist check, whichever you'd prefer.
Ooh, do I have any? No. No, I definitely don't want to make an escape artist check.
Because that has a penalty for your armor, doesn't it?
Yeah, I have a -5 in escape artist, I think. So
Wow.
yeah.
What's up,
Yeah,
Ryan?
I'm not trying to squirm out of there. I'm definitely trying to like grab one of these tentacles and like, or whatever it is, like that. It feels like a tentacle, right? It's like a big fleshy thing.
There are a few tentacle things and also some really big, flat, thin things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna grab one of these tentacle things and try and like yank it, like try and like break it off of wherever it's coming from.
Okay.
I'm gonna
With
nod
a
it.
nat 20, does a 21?
Yeah. Wow, a nat 20. Yeah, so you bust out of this, whatever this is, and Lucanus, you heard a splash, and then all of a sudden just like a bigger splash, and then a bunch of movement happening under the water. And then after a moment, Cedric's head bursts back up above the surface.
All right, let's go.
Something grab me! Let's get out of here!
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think that light was something spooky that should lure us here.
Yep, that's what I think too. So we are vamoosing.
Cedric, you crawl up onto the shoreline, and as you're doing that, you hear a different small voice, somewhere near you in the fog, and you don't see the light anymore. The light is gone. It disappeared pretty much as the splashing was happening. But you hear a different voice saying, "Hello? Who's making all that splashing?"
Yeah, don't go in the water. We got a camp to head back to. You can follow us if you want, but yeah, just FYI, water not safe.
Who's us?
A couple of big, strong warriors who just fought some kind of big tentacle monster in this swamp here.
We're semi-muscular.
You're warriors?
I'm still holding this tentacle, for the
Okay.
record.
Well, so you look over, and now that it's like right up against your face, you see it's a vine of some kind.
Oh, another plant monster.
And if you try to investigate are you going to try to investigate this water area, or are you just good with the vine that you've got?
No,
We're
I want to taste the vine. What does it taste like?
It's sticky on the outside, and it does not taste great.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all bitter. Oh, God.
Yeah, it
Drop
doesn't seem like food, does it?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Yeah,
well.
I wanna investigate, but kind of like to see if I can figure out the path that Lucan. Like I want to try and, because we were just following the light before. I want to look
Yeah.
around and see if I can see any like footprints or anything like that, where like if Lucanus and I were following someone.
Okay. Give me a perception check. Lucanus, are you doing the same thing?
Yeah. Eight. That's a low roll. I really ate that roll.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, this
No,
is.
it's okay.
That's a 16.
10. A 16. Okay. So an 8 and a 16. Lucanus, you're mostly just watching Cedric and looking at this vine that he's got in his hand. Cedric, you see first in the water, these big, flat, and when I say big, like 3 foot in diameter, big, flat leaves are just placidly floating on the surface of the water, right where you had been in this water just moments before. They seem innocuous enough.
Like water lily type leaves?
Yeah, but like 5 of them in kind of like a palmate, or like your fingers coming off of your hand, arrangement. 5 big leaves, 3 foot in diameter, just hanging out on the surface of the water.
If only we were a bird with really big feet.
And you can see a bit of a small figure not too far distant from you in the fog. It looks like they might be moving towards you.
Okay. Do I see a light, or is it just a figure?
Just a figure.
Lucanus, there's someone over there. I know you have bad elf eyes, but there's somebody over there.
What do I see?
Again, yeah, because it's dark and foggy, you're having a hard time, but as the figure moves closer, you realize it's a gnoll child dressed in a simple tunic. And she sort of is moving her head a little bit to try to see through the fog herself. And you said you were warriors? Who are you?
Hey. My name's Cedric. This is Lucanus. Are you a gnoll?
Yes. I'm Achille of the Longclaw Camp.
Longclaw Camp. Do we know the Longclaw Camp?
You haven't met anyone from the Longclaw Camp as far as you know.
Okay. And what was the name of
Barika?
What was there? Yeah, what was Barika's like? Do we know the camp name? I don't remember that.
Yeah, I know she told you her clan name. I don't know if anybody remembers it.
I don't.
Probably.
I'm gonna let out a whoop whoop.
Okay.
Ooh. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No, I think that
Cedric, you can do an intelligence check to try to remember what the name of Barika's clan was.
That's what I want to do. Because Peter doesn't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Cedric also doesn't remember.
Nope. Okay. Yeah, you don't remember. But you give the whoop whoop, and she kind of makes a tiny little like whoop. Like she's very tentative and like you're very strange looking, but you know, you said you were warriors, and that seems to be what she's interested in or what she's trusting about you.
Yeah.
Are you? How did you get separated from your group?
I saw a light, and I was trying to chase it.
Yeah,
we did the same thing.
That's a bad idea. Bad
Super
plan.
tricky light, right? Anybody could have fallen for that. We've got a camp back, I think that way. If you want to come, we've got some food. We've got some meat. If you're hungry, and then maybe in the morning we can help you find the rest of your people.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get to safety first.
Okay. And she will sort of toddle along with you. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make sure she's toddling behind. Like I figure Lucanus is probably leading the way, and I'm gonna like protect the rear and like keep an eye out for things following us.
Okay. Lucanus, give me a survival check to try to find your way back to camp in the fog. Cedric, give me a perception check to watch for things following you. And while they're doing that, I'll say that the plant monster that attacked Cedric was called gatorweed, and it's out of the Horrific Herbarium, a supplement book you can find on the DM's Guild that was written by an actual botanist.
Oh,
Nice.
21.
I got a 23.
All right. So Cedric does a great job of keeping watch, and again, like nothing much seems to bother you. As you are making your way back to camp, and Lucanus, you are able to find your way back to camp pretty easily, especially once you start smelling the smoke from your campfire. Yeah.
All right.
Fletcher, we adopted a gnoll child.
I mean, yeah.
Is that really what you say?
No, probably
I
not.
would be surprised if it were.
Actually, no.
Probably like, Fletcher. I just found my pin. What was the child's name?
I'm a Keely.
Keely.
Keely. Oh, I like that name.
Thank you.
Keely, I'd like you to introduce you to my friend Fletcher. Fletcher is a wizard, and he casts like really cool magic. Like he can make things slippery or catch on fire.
Wow. Hi.
Hello. We'll
He's
deal
also-
with this in the morning. I just
He's
lay
also
back down
really
and go
tired.
to sleep because you two came back.
Yep.
I'm like a parent. You just came in at 2 a.m, and I'm like, we'll talk about this in the morning. And I fall and I lay back down.
Fletcher, you did notice before you laid back down, Cedric's beard is full of mud and he appears to be completely soaked.
See, that's not the part that I'm at all surprised about. I'm just going back to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you, Achille just sort of like curls up near your fire, just like in an area of the grass and sort of, hugs her knees to herself. Cedric, are you going back to sleep?
I think I'm gonna like take off all my armor, clean it, cast mending on my armor to like fix the bits that maybe got bent, or maybe try and like get all the water off of it. Yeah, and then go to sleep.
Okay. Are you doing anything about the mud in your beard?
Oh yeah, probably like take my boots off and like put them on sticks next to the fire so they can like dry off. Like try and like comb the mud out of my beard. Really need to like pick up some bathing spells. That's definitely what I should.
Bathing spells.
Are bathing spells a thing in D&D?
No.
I mean, the closest you've got is
Okay.
prestidigitation, but yeah.
Yeah.
Or conjure water.
Or conjure
water
but you
above
have to-
your head.
Well, you have to conjure it. So everybody does that wrong. You have to conjure it into a container.
Oh.
It specifically says that in the description of the spells that you have to conjure it into a container.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
And the rest of Lucanus's watch passes pretty much without incident, but I brought out the science bell because I thought that gator weed that attacked Cedric was a great opportunity for us to talk about carnivorous plants in wetlands and why they're a thing. So, what is a carnivorous plant? What kinds of carnivorous plants are there, and their different strategies for getting food, and why do they appear in wetlands and bogs?
I feel like this is gonna be one of my Quell's questions.
It kind of sounds like one.
Yep. So carnivorous plants are plants that eat animals, and they tend to hang out in wetlands because it is a environment that is very low in nitrogen, which things need to make proteins, and animals are a really great way to get nitrogen.
And by low in nitrogen, you mean the soil is low in nitrogen.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So the plants in boggy areas often have a hard time growing because the soil doesn't have a lot of the right nutrients in it. So they supplement by eating animals. What's your favorite carnivorous plant?
Oh, I gotta go with Venus flytrap because it's native almost exclusively to my home state of North Carolina. So
I really like sundews myself. I like the way that they move and sort of grab onto things.
Mm-hmm. I was
Bladderwort.
Ooh, bladderwort.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
I was blown away when I saw pitcher plants for the first time in the Adirondacks.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my favorite pitcher plant specifically is this one. I think it lives in Borneo, and it no longer eats arthropods or insects or anything. It's been modified into the shape of basically a toilet, and attracts a shrew to it. And this little lippy thing produces more nectar. So the shrew literally like sits on it and then licks up the nectar and shits in the pot, which is hilarious. So that
And
one's
the
my favorite.
That's a
And
good
the
way to get
nectar-
nitrogen. Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
the nectar is actually a laxative, if I remember right.
Don't know
Right,
about
with
that
that
part.
species? Oh, okay.
But it's a plant that eats poop.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
It's
There's-
always happy.
There's-
It's always happy. It just has a big shit-eating grin all the time.
I think there's another one. I think it's also a pitcher plant. I don't remember, but it's a highly, highly modified leaf as well that reflects bat sonar and attracts bats to it. So the bats like drink from it and then poop under it.
Oh, wow.
And they found that like the plants that are successful and attract the bats grow like up to 40% better than the ones that suck and don't attract the bats because they literally just like poop right there and they're like, nitrogen.
Yeah.
That's-
Well,
yeah,
there's actually a lot of kind of proto carnivorous plants. So tomatoes, for example, they have these hairs on them that sort of trap smaller insects, and then when those insects die, they'll fall to the ground, decay, and release nitrogen into the soil that way.
There are some people who claim that the like rose bushes in like where I've seen the like stories like the UK is that the thorns will get stuck in the wool of sheep, and actually sheep will get stuck in there and die, so that they're like killing vertebrates to fertilize themselves.
Yeah.
It's a long-term perennial strategy. I don't know that anyone has proven that, but that's the claim I've seen on the blogosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense at least to me. You know, I've always wondered, you know, a lot of plants that have really effective toxins, you know, you eat them, you die, and then it just seems like it would be a good strategy for plants that grow in dense thickets, you know, to sort of
You gotta die immediately though. Like I feel like there are very few plants that like kill you.
Kill you?
Yeah, insta
Not-
kill you. Yeah.
Not
It would
necessarily.
have to be like so delicious that you decide to stay there and keep eating them. You're like, I'm gonna wake up in the morning and eat more of these berries, and then that night you're like, oh god.
Well, not necessarily. You know, if there's a fairly sizable patch of these plants and the toxin kills you within an hour or two, which is fairly common for some plant toxins, then I've always wondered if that was, you know, strategy as to why, you know, some plants are, you know, like heinously toxic, things like oleander, some nightshades, and
Well, if it was just, while you're still in the patch, like that would be like not a great guarantee. Like it might vaguely be kin selection, but it might also not be. So I don't feel like there's a great pressure to make that happen.
Also,
But I
I
mean,
feel like for you're probably exclusive to perennials, right? Or like because like things like oleander, like by the time your body becomes available to an annual plant, like especially one that like already has berries,
well,
it's
yeah,
already set its fecundity for the year, so it's not going to be producing more offspring because it gets fertilized, you know, a month after its berries are fertile.
But I
you
mean,
know.
like nightshades, for example, that have really toxic berries. You eat the berry, you die. It's a huge nitrogen boon for the seeds.
But from my understanding, that a lot of things that like they don't want mammals to eat them because the mammals will crush the seeds, but they're
Yeah.
not toxic to things like birds, where the seeds just pass through the digestive system.
Yeah.
So it's still like seed dispersal because it's saying it's like usually they're brightly colored, right? So you'd have something that is like toxic to mammals, so they know not to eat it because they crush the seeds, versus like something that would be carried by birds where it just pass through the digestive system.
Yeah, and that's where we get capsaicin. You know, birds can't sense it, but mammals can. So
Exactly. I feel like it's more common.
I'm just speculating because I mean, I feel like that would be a really good, you know, yeah.
There's a giant pitcher plant that I believe lives somewhere in Africa, which I realize is a large continent, but
Yeah.
somewhere there. But it's been reported, not that it happens often, but it like every now and then a rat or two falls into it and it will eat them. Like it's big enough for that. And so I feel like that would probably, like pitfall trap style, would probably be a better strategy.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So we've sort of hinted at it a little bit, but pitcher plants are a carnivorous plant that grows a modified leaf in a tube with some digestive liquid in it, and often also some sort of attractant that usually is trying to catch insects or other arthropods to fall in and get digested by the juices and consumed for their nitrogen. But we've also talked about ones that might eat some small vertebrates, or at least their poop. But how does your favorite carnivorous plant work, Peter? How does a Venus flytrap catch its food?
Yeah, so they've got little so like the hairs that Joe mentioned that tomato plants have, most plants have, there's a variety of different types of little modified hairs, but Venus flytraps have basically a modified leaf that at the midrib, the center part of most leaves have like a midrib, most flowering plant leaves. Basically they can fold up, and those hairs act as sensory structures. So it actually takes a set number of stimulation. So it just one of those hairs being tickled doesn't do anything. It's actually like a set number, like 4 hairs have to be tickled before the leaf will slowly close.
Yeah.
Pretty rapidly for a plant moving, I guess, close.
It's fast enough to catch a housefly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if you've ever killed a housefly, a lot of times you can be more effective by being slow and steady than by, like, you're never going to be faster than a housefly, but sometimes if you move it kind of a gradual, and they've got these teeth too, so like it's like before the housefly realizes that it's being squished, it's already trapped in a little cage, and then they fold together, and then secrete digestive enzymes that dissolve the good parts and leave kind of the exoskeleton husk of the insect, and then they open back up and let it blow away, and then they can actually open and close multiple times.
So I think all carnivorous plants, I think that all of them actually capture their prey through their leaves. I think that they're all just kind of modified leaves, with the possible
Everything
exception.
on a plant is a modified leaf.
I mean,
essentially.
yeah.
not the hairs. Those are actually modified parts of the roots. The trichomes are made from the same.
Well, aren't sundew globules on the trichomes, or those modified leaves?
I
Aren't
think
those like little things that they stick out of the leaf, right?
Yeah.
that is a good question, and I am not sure. But trichomes are those hairs on the leaves are actually made from the same genes that give roots their hairs.
That's a fun fact I didn't know.
Yeah, that's cool.
And while we're on the topic of sundews, how do those work?
So they have these sort of protrusions. They look almost like a koosh ball, and they are covered with a very sweet, very sticky liquid. So insects are attracted to it, and once they land on it, they can't leave. And then, when they're struggling, the plant senses it, and it just sort of rolls up over the insect. And then from there, it acts pretty similarly to the Venus flytrap. It releases digestive enzymes and digests the insect and eats it that way.
Koosh ball is a reference I don't know if everyone in our audience will get. But Nancy, it looked like you were going to say something.
So one thing that's really interesting about the sundews is that we're studying that glue as a hydrogel, as trying to copy it to make basically a biodegradable but very strong and stable glue.
Oh,
Cool.
Interesting.
Nice. And Ryan, how does your favorite carnivorous plant work? Bladderwort is probably the one that the fewest people may have heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of bladderworts. Well, they're either in like super saturated situations or just like completely in open water. I really like the ones that are just, they basically float within open fresh water, and they have leaves that are underneath the water, and they have highly modified leaves that are the traps that they use, and so basically it's kind of like a little cage, and they sit there closed. And they have little trigger hairs on this little cage or the bladder, and they actually build on the inside of those little cages. The plant builds up a negative pressure. So when something hits a hair, it triggers the bladder to open, and that negative pressure is like a vacuum, and it sucks in the surrounding water and whatever is there. It can be like a mosquito larva or a water flea, or sometimes there's even big enough ones to catch like very small fish and things that have like just hatched out of their small fry, like the original, like the very youngest, and really quickly they that gets sucked in. And as the water fills into the bladder, it equalizes the pressure. And when it becomes equal, that is what triggers it to close again, trapping the thing inside. And then it goes through its digestion process inside that little bladder. So I think they're super, super cool. And I usually see, you see all the other types of carnivorous plants in conservatories. Like we have all the tropical Sarracenia pitcher plants. We have, the tropical Nepenthes, the hardy Sarracenia. We have like a whole bog collection outside. We have sundews and pitcher plants and Venus flytraps. But I've never seen a collection with a bladderwort on display. And I think it would be so cool to have just an open water tank, and you just rear Daphnia in another tank and dump them in each day, to just let them live in there and feed the bladderworts. And it would be a really engaging demonstration that can be done in a botanical garden.
That's I did not know that nobody had them on display. That's
I bet somebody does. I just haven't seen any. Which has been disappointing.
So, my dad my dad has a Venus flytrap in a jar. And when I was a kid, my job was to, like, especially in the summer, was to go around the house and swat any of the flies and then feed them to the Venus flytrap.
Aww.
Amazing.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people, one thing about care for carnivorous plants, when most people get carnivorous plants, they actually tend to overfeed them. They don't need that many insects. So if you can go to a garden supply store and actually get Venus flytraps, or some greenhouses will actually keep sundews around as a sort of way to control things like fungus gnats or aphids and stuff like that. So if you decide to get one, and it is a really rewarding thing to own, just feed it sparingly. So the real world counterpart to our gatorweed, it would be closest to a Venus flytrap, would it not?
Yeah, probably, because the trigger for the gatorweed, as described in the horrific herbarium, is that, like, you coming in contact with the vines. So when Cedric stepped in the water and touched the vines, that causes the leaves to fold up. So it is closest to the Venus flytrap, just on a massive scale and requiring the coordination of multiple leaves at once. But then, the idea is that the plant holds you underwater, and if you are unable to break free before you drown, then it's able to consume you. Yeah, but it's, I guess it's a combination of a Venus flytrap and also the way that crocodilians will pull their prey underwater and spin it and cause it to become disoriented and drown as part of the killing it process. Yeah.
So one other thing to note, which is, kind of, it's not really a tangent, it kind of is, but a lot of plants will, a lot of flowers will actually capture insects to aid in pollination. So a lot of times these plants will smell really bad, and then when the insects land on them, they'll close up for about a day. The insects will be covered in pollen, and then the flower opens back up, and then the insects leave, and then they inevitably get tricked again. And I think some of them will actually kill the insects, and then pollination happens that way.
Plants, don't trust them.
Yeah, so apparently the cutoff between the difference, so like you've got, so a lot of people know about like fig wasps where pollination occurs, so in a lot of wild fig varieties. there's a wasp that moves from like wasps hatch out in a fig flower, gain pollen, and then move to another fig flower, crawl inside of it, pollinate it, lay eggs, and die inside that flower, and actually stay, die and live, or their body decomposes and is reabsorbed by the plant inside the fruit, which is probably not an actual fruit. It's probably like a berry. I don't know what figs are, but I think the cutoff, according to scientists, is whether or not there's a protease or some kind of enzyme that actually dissolves the insect, or whether it like rots on its own. What?
It's phycin.
Phycin.
Phycin. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like there's a carnivorous bromeliad. So like most people who have seen bromeliads know that they have like kind of a cup shape in the center of them, that a lot of insects will use for like reproduction, and like frogs and things like that will reproduce in a lot of arboreal bromeliads. But there's a terrestrial bromeliad in Venezuela that apparently produces an enzyme that will dissolve stuff that falls into its cup, and actually lures things in with a smell, like Joe was saying. And so that's the difference. It's just like, it produces this one enzyme, so we're gonna lump it in with the rest of the carnivorous plants.
Bromeliads and their proteases. Also, one other thing that we should probably mention is that there are also herbivorous plants, plants that are parasites of other plants. And Daughter is one of the more important economic pests of things like wheat. It will sort of wrap around. It'll sprout as a seed, and then it'll wrap around a plant, and then its root system dissolves, and it just picks up nutrients from the other plants. And these can be huge, by the way. I think like 40 feet across or something like that. And then witchweed, which is actually native to Africa, but has been introduced in the US. It's a fairly major pest of corn. And it works in a very similar way, only the flowers are actually really, really pretty. There is a quarantine in certain parts of the southern US where people are very careful about taking soil out or moving farm equipment, because that's how it spreads. And these seeds can lay dormant for like 30 years.
Oh man, I almost started talking about moving farm equipment and introducing invasives, but we don't have to do that.
Oh yeah, no, we don't have time for that. That is a nature.
This is now a Palmer Amaranth podcast.
Oh God, yeah, that's a whole other monster.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for talking about plants that eat things.
Thanks for not eating me, Sheryl.
I mean, you broke out of it right away. I even I copied down the rules about drowning, and we didn't get to use them. So you were commenting on how Cedric should be able to hold his breath for more than 24 seconds or whatever. So basically, the rules for drowning are being underwater is that you can hold your breath for a number of rounds equal to 2 times your con modifier. After that, you must make a con check each round to continue holding your breath. The first round of you having to hold your breath, the DC is 10, and the DC increases by 1 each round thereafter.
Okay.
So, it gets harder and harder the longer you hold your breath, which, and then when you fail your con check, the first round...
So when you breathe in water.
Right. The first round that you fail your con check, so when you breathe in water, the character falls unconscious to 0 hit points. During the second round, you drop to -1 hit point and you are dying. And then the third round, you drown.
Okay.
Yeah.
So question from the chat. If a plant eats another plant, does that make it a cannibal? As far as I know, Daughter will not actually parasitize another member of its same species.
Yeah, I answered it in the chat.
Yeah.
It makes sense, because Daughter is absorbing nutrients that it doesn't have from those other plants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be able to get those.
But it's also really interesting, because you have this plant that eats other plants, but it's able to recognize other parasitic plants and avoid them. And I don't I don't know that anybody's ever, asked that question or studied it.
But saying a plant that eats other plants and asking whether or not that's a cannibal is like saying, are we cannibals because we eat other mammals, right? Like.
So, but I think the cool question is, yeah, if a parasitic plant won't parasitize another plant of its own species, then no, they're not cannibals, right?
Yeah.
So like if mistletoe won't grow on mistletoe, then it cannot cannibalize itself, its own species.
Yeah.
Even though cannibal is specifically eating rather than parasitizing. So and the definition of parasite usually includes a modifier for has to be a different species, otherwise babies would be considered parasites by every other definition.
Well, in Carcia, the males are parasitic on the females. And anglerfish.
I don't think so, because
because they're getting sperm.
Yeah, they're mutualistic.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's easy to look at them and be like, oh, they're getting nutrients, but the females are getting sperm. So even though nutritionally it's a one-sided thing, like fitness-wise, it's a mutualistic thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Encarsia males I think they're actually ectoparasitoids on the females, and they do kill the females.
What is this?
Did the females reproduce?
No, the females die inside of the aphid or the whitefly or whatever. It's a wasp called it's a genus of wasps called Encarsia, and they're used for greenhouse biocontrol. And the parasitism is meant as a sort of population regulator, because if there's too many females in an area, they need to knock that number down so that sexual reproduction can commence. It's actually a really interesting system. Another conversation entirely, but there are cases where animals will autoparasitize. But it just doesn't happen in plants for reasons that I don't think that anybody's ever really studied.
I guess autoparasitism makes sense in the same way that some animals will cannibalize under, certain circumstances.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, there's a stumper for my undergrad parasitology professor, Dr. Stewart. If you're listening, get at us.
I mean,
we'll tag you later.
And if anybody who's listening to this podcast happens to be a plant scientist and wants to tackle that question, I happen to know a very good molecular biologist who is going to be looking for a postdoc in a few years.
Well, yeah, there you go. Okay, so we've done that. Lucanus's watch ends in the morning, and you are all waking up. Cedric knows what's going on, and Fletcher kind of sort of knows what's going on, but Kay and Nautia, you wake up and realize there's someone else in your camp with you.
Lucanus and Cedric came back with a random small child.
A puppy followed you home.
Yeah. So throughout the night, Lucanus has been making sure Achille is okay. He made sure that he gave her his tent. He made sure that she was able to eat, and just made sure that she felt, safe and secure and taken care of.
She mostly just wanted to sleep. But you're saying you're letting her sleep in your tent. So was anyone else in the tent, or had it been vacated and was free for you to just put her in there without anyone?
Kay, were you in the tent?
If it was raining, yes.
It wasn't
so badly want Kay to wake up next to an old child.
It wasn't raining, but it was very foggy, misty.
Was it wet? If it was wet, in any sense of the word, I was in the tent.
Okay, well then, Lucanus, if you want to put Achille in the tent, Kay is in there asleep.
Yep. So Kay's gonna wake up next to a random knoll child.
Okay. So Kay, as you wake up, you smell like wet dog.
She's like, Lucanus, I know that you often smell bad, but why do you smell wet?
And you turn over as you're saying that and see a small knoll child next to you.
She screams. screams bloody murder.
And the child wakes up and looks back at you and screams as well.
We're just both screaming. Gay,
Giant
runs
hairless
out of
monster
the tent.
screaming
Gay,
in its face.
runs out of the tent and trips and falls on her face.
Hey guys, K's up.
Yeah. First scream, Nautia's awake.
In your tent. And
Cedric
when
is
did
up,
they get there?
wearing only his shirt, holding his warhammer.
Only your shirt? Are you Donald Ducking it? Is that?
Yeah. It
So
hangs down
good.
really low, but I'm like,
Okay.
so you just see his skinny little legs sticking out, white pale legs.
This prompts Kay to scream again. What is in your tent? When did this get here? Where? I thought you were on watch. Were you not watching something crawl into the tent?
I let her in.
What?
It's a defenseless knoll puppy. I mean,
It's got teeth. It's not you.
I mean, yeah, she could, she's not gonna be able to cause much damage she's fine. It's a child. We help children, don't we?
I mean, yes, but I tend not to wake up with them in my bed unexpectedly. This is where the problem is.
I didn't want to bother you when you were sleeping.
And you want to bother me when I woke up?
I mean, it's a better time to bother you.
Fletcher can attest to that.
You see, so she comes out of the tent and is sort of watching you have this argument, and her ears are just drooping, and she's kind of like, sorry.
It's okay.
This is not your fault, child. This is not you. This is a respect thing between am I the only one who would want to be hi? We came across a small person. Thought you might want to know.
We came across
before...
a small person.
Thanks. Very helpful.
Her name is Akili.
I'm sure she feels very welcome right now. Hello. I believe there's breakfast. If you want to have some, I'm gonna go be right back for a second, I guess.
Okay.
I sort of offer some of the berries and stuff we've been finding.
Thank you.
Breakfast?
Yes, please.
Where did she come from?
That way. There's a swamp with
very
killer
mean plant.
Yeah, killer vines in it. And she was
came from the swamp.
I was lost.
Oh yeah, probably not originally from the swamp. That's just
No.
where we found her.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take a little look around.
Okay.
Yeah.
None of this sounds like what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Cedric is gonna get down and is how tall is Akili? Is she Cedric height or shorter?
I mean, she's the size of a 9-year-old child, so maybe a little shorter than you. I don't think you have to squat though.
Okay.
Because you're what, 4
I'm gonna
feet
squat
something?
anyways.
Okay.
Sorry, Cindy.
That perception check is a big old 9.
A 9. I mean,
I'm very distracted by the squatting, I guess.
because he still doesn't have pants on.
I forgot about that.
Now Cedric is
I'm
wearing
so sorry,
underwear,
everyone.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just he's out there in his Walter Whiteys.
Yes.
Oh my god. Qui-Gon Bowers says, go put some pants on. Okay. So, Nautia, the fog is starting to burn off. It's still kind of cloudy out, so it's not burning off very quickly. And yeah, you see grassland all around you. if they're describing like a marshy type situation, you might not be able to see it easily. If there isn't a lot of open water, you don't see anything immediately. Yeah.
Okay. And no sign of like a knoll camp, maybe?
Not as far as you can see.
All right.
Kay comes back demanding answers. One, where did you find her? Did she like wander up to the camp? And if she didn't wander, what the hell were you guys doing? And where were you? And why would you leave us unprotected?
There was
No, we didn't leave you unprotected. Fletcher was watching the camp.
Fletcher, were you watching the camp?
They did wake me up.
Yeah, but were you watching the camp or were you awake?
I was aware.
Excellent. Point being.
Well, there was this mysterious light, and so we followed it. And we found her. And also a plant tried to murder me. And there was a swamp. She was lost in a swamp. A swamp full of plants that try and murder people.
Swamp. But we're in grass.
It was like grassy, but there was also a bunch of water there. And mud. I imagine all the mud in my beard is like dry now, so I can just like flake it out.
It's like flaking out. Yeah.
It's like a cloud of dried, like anoxic, like nasty smelling swamp mud is like billowing out.
That's real good. Also, fun fact, the difference between a swamp and a marsh is that a swamp has trees in it. Or that's one of the differences.
It was a marsh?
Was it a bog?
It was not a bog. Don't know what the definition of a bog is.
If it had been, you could have become a bog mummy.
Yeah. Is there peat in a bog? Is that what makes a bog a bog?
Freeze-dried Cedric.
I don't know if that's what...
So, Peter, if you fall into one, it would be a bog.
Ah.
Have a peat. Anyway, sorry. I felt that was necessary.
So, has anybody, okay. I turned to Akili. I'm like, okay. Sounds like nobody has done this yet. Where did you come from?
I'm from the Longclaw camp.
And where was that? How long did you walk before you ended up here?
I mean, a little while. Not like a really long time, though.
So you left your camp last night?
There was a light.
What?
So you must be fairly nearby. Does your camp move around a lot, or do they live in one spot?
No, we move around.
Do you know where they're heading next?
No, but I don't think we were moving today.
Do you remember what direction you came from?
It was dark.
Do you remember passing by our camp when you were following the light?
No.
Did you see our fire?
No, you have, you... Sorry, my dog just got very excited about food. No, you have a fire and smoke and that meat smells good. I would have remembered that.
But she did pass relatively close by, right? Because we heard her.
Yeah.
Did you hear her?
Did I hear her?
Or did you hear like a
water.
swamp monster?
Cedric, make a... Do you have Knowledge Arcana?
It's a good question.
So we know she came from relatively nearby. It's a small child was able to move around in a single night and end up by us.
You do have Knowledge Arcana?
I rolled a 14.
A 14. You're not sure that the light and the sound was this child. You think it might have been something else, especially because the voices weren't the same, and she does not appear to have any sort of light-making items with
Apparatus.
her. Yeah.
Ah.
She's not bioluminescent?
Not that you're aware.
I've discovered a new fact about gnolls.
Right.
They are not bioluminescent.
So when you met her after the plant attacked you, you saw just a dark figure moving through the fog, right? She didn't have a light with her.
So those were completely serendipitous running into her.
She said that she followed a light.
Akili, did you hear a sound with the light like they did?
Mm-hmm. It was laughing.
It was laughing.
Yeah.
They heard somebody crying.
Oh, that's sad.
Can I see if I know anything about what this sounds like?
Give me
light
knowledge.
and
Knowledge
I mean, I think
Arcana?
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
16.
What do you think
Arcana,
it
16.
What do you think it is?
I think it was a like will-o'-the-wisp type thing.
Yeah, that's a good supposition. It was light and sound in the darkness, but they didn't get a good look at it, and it led them to a wetland. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like both of you were lured to the swamp by the wisp creature in order to meet your demise, which sounds like it was almost successful.
Not really.
Nah, it wasn't even close. I just ripped that thing apart, no problem. It wasn't very strong.
Does Cedric still have the like piece of the leaf or whatever?
No, I threw it on the ground after I tasted it.
Oh, right, it tasted bad.
Why would I keep it if it doesn't taste good?
So we can know whatever direction she came from. She didn't pass near enough by our camp to see or smell anything. Being a gnoll, that probably a pretty good distance she would have smelled smoking meat. So that really narrows down the directions in which she could have come from.
Yeah, it depends on the wind direction.
Does anybody remember what direction the wind was blowing last night?
Nope.
There wasn't much of a wind, which is why the fog was hanging.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Cedric doesn't know much about weather.
I know.
Cedric doesn't know much about anything.
Well,
He knows a lot about rocks, rat
some
farming,
some caves, especially the larger ones, do have their own weather systems.
Mm-hmm.
Moradin.
I'm sure you can know a lot about your make-believe friend.
Ooh!
Oh,
Oh, getting
Kay is
saucy
not,
today.
not in a good mood today.
Would you be if you woke up with a stranger with giant teeth next to you?
They're not that big yet.
I mean,
But you
You
like
know?
those.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
and
It's the principle. It's not her. It's the principle of the matter.
you know what? Being a kid out in the wilderness, we have to help her.
I mean, I live here. It's not really wilderness, but anyway, we can get into an argument about the concept of wilderness at some other point.
Being alone and out there is just, I don't know. I just had to help. That's just.
Kay looks at Lucanus and looks around, gets a plate, slaps some meat on it, and hands the plate to her.
Thank you.
Probably better than berries for you, huh?
I mean, I like to eat everything.
Perfect. Here's some
I
meat
do-
for breakfast.
I do too.
So, Akili, do you know how to get back home?
I mean, I could probably figure it out.
Can you
Yep.
smell anything? Like, do you detect your clan?
I don't remember if gnolls have the scent thing. Let's look it up.
And without knowing all the orientation of all these things over the night, would we be able to deduce a probable direction that she may have come from? Even if it's like northwest, like a big like.
I guess it would depend on you figuring out where this marsh was, or is, because like you've sort of been traveling more or less through the center of this grasslands, so the marsh could be in any of the 4 cardinal directions from you.
Well, I'm guessing do you two remember the direction you headed out from camp? I was half asleep.
I think
Straight
so.
out.
I mean, everything looks really different in the daytime.
I mean,
what side was the tent on that you walked to go past? Those things didn't move.
It was straight out from the fire.
right, wouldn't the
do
grass
we
still
remember,
be...
Cheryl?
360 different degrees.
Yeah. Cheryl, do we remember which direction it was?
Kay made a good point. The grass
would be pushed down
is
because it's
dropped
wet.
down.
That's how they used to make crop circles. Is they
Right.
do it on a wet night, and then when it would be bent instead of broken. So you could. That's how you see the crop circle. So you
Track
should
ourselves.
be able to track yourselves because it's not
Yeah.
like either of you are not wide. So
I'm heavy too.
yeah, exactly.
And
so
one of
I'm
you
sure-
was hauling a lot of mud too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
Fletcher
like
has no survival
glops.
skill, which is why I am not trying to track. I'm trying to deduce this, not track things, because I do not have survival skill.
Fair
Kay
enough.
just like walks over to the push down grass and points.
And Kay, it is leading in a more or less westerly direction out of camp.
So why don't we follow this until where Cedric fell into the water, and then
Watch out though, they're poisonous plant or carnivorous plants.
All right, well we'll push you in next time then, and then we can see if Nautia can see where the Knoll camp is, because that's theoretically where they like crashed into each other, right?
It was
Yeah.
more of a Marco Polo situation.
Who's that?
It's a game that I used to play as a kid.
Famous elf.
Cannon. Okay, so is that your plan?
Yeah, let's back up the camp because we might not come back this way.
Yep.
Yep.
You're pretty much done here anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the smoking rack that we built.
Just leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, we don't need it, so.
All right, so you pack up your camp, and you're able fairly easily to follow the muddy, wet, tromped down grass back quite a distance. It's not like you guys did it quickly. To this, and as you come up on it, you can hear that loud sound again, the whistling, mixed in with the other insect sounds of the grasslands. You see an area of open water with some very large flat leaves in it, and it looks like you found a marsh.
Yeah, don't go near those leaves.
Is there a stick nearby?
Sure.
Can I poke it with a stick? And
What part of the
Like-
plant do you want to poke?
the leafy bit.
Okay, yeah, so you pick up a leaf and you poke one of the big flat leaves and nothing happens.
Are you sure you just didn't fall into the water, Cedric?
Yeah, I didn't even fall. It like pulled me. It was like, I was standing up, and then all of a sudden I got yanked off of my feet. In fact, the first thing that happened was Fletcher hit me in the face. But then the second thing that happened was this like tentacle hit me in the face. And I remember because Fletcher hit me in the nose, but the tentacle hit me on the cheek, and it was like real.
Only one of those sounds believable, and it's the fact that Fletcher hit you. Fletcher, have you heard of a thing like this? Is this a real thing? You study things.
We got attacked by a giant vine thing like a week ago in the jungle, Kay.
Yeah, but it like moved and was like alive and stuff. This is just some like I'm just saying you heard this magical voice and you saw this magical light and then you ended up in the water and now you're blaming a plant. It seems
Lucanus
kinda
was there. He
suspicious.
saw it.
I did. I'll vouch for this.
Yeah, can I think if this is something I know about or if it's an Arda specific thing that I've never heard of?
Sure, make a knowledge nature check. Nature check.
And I also, is this something that I've
Go for it. Make a check.
seen before?
14.
14.
21.
What was that?
21.
21. Wow. Yeah, I mean, Fletcher, you're aware of carnivorous plants. That's a thing that exists on other continents, but you don't recognize this specific one that Cedric is gesticulating at. Nautia, you also don't recognize this one specifically, but it wouldn't surprise you in the least if it was actually a carnivorous plant, because you know there are a lot of large and or strange things on this continent that sort of blend the idea of being alive and what it means to be a living or, you know, moving creature. So, yeah.
Okay.
We've all seen some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we were all attacked by a giant plant like a week ago with these giant like tendrils that tried to pull us into its big old mouth. I don't understand why that's
It's kind of the same idea.
Yeah,
It's
it was
definitely
just
possible.
like that. Except I had to fight this one on my own.
I thought you said Lucanus was watching. He didn't
Yeah,
help.
he was watching. He wasn't helping.
he was able. He got it. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't need his help. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I'm like really strong.
He's a strong, independent man who don't need no elf.
Yeah. Look, I could. Do you want me to do it again? I'll go in there.
Yes.
No.
Look, he's gonna take Kay's stick, start poking it more. Like, do it again, you stupid plant.
Nothing happens.
Nothing.
Nope.
All right.
Well, based on how other plant creatures that I do know of, not on Arda, that may just not be what actually makes the thing attack you. What did you come into contact with, Cedric? Was it these leaves or the things that pulled you down under the water?
I think it was. I mean, it felt like it was not the big
You
leaves.
stepped
The
on
bit
it.
I ripped off was more like tendrily, like a tentacle.
So if I take the stick and put it out into the water so it goes into the water near the leaves,
What do you mean? You
I mean-
like floating it?
I take the stick, well, and like a little like javelin type throw or something. If we're not near the leaves, so that it'll go in and touch.
Yeah, you do that. Nothing seems to happen.
What if I toss a rock?
How big a rock are you throwing?
Whatever I can find. If it's like a
Okay. Yeah, you throw the rock into the water and it bloop in and nothing happens.
I mean, as much as I'd love to pick a fight, maybe we should not be picking a fight with a plant.
Achilles just standing like a few feet back from all of you, watching you like, what are you doing?
Shoot fire at it, Fletcher.
Lucanus looks over at Achilles. That is a very good question. I think that they want to, kick this plant's butt.
Why?
It's just something that they do. They.
What? That is... Cedric is saying that he was eaten by this non-moving thing, and I think he just fell into the water.
I mean,
Basically.
he wasn't eaten. Everything's fine.
If he had been eaten,
Well-
he wouldn't be here.
Yeah, if he was eaten, we would know about it. And
Can I
things would be a
look
lot more
around and
quiet.
see if I can find the vine that I threw on the ground?
Sure, give me a search check. Looking for the vine with like a bite taken out of it?
Yeah. I think I technically just licked it.
No, you said
You said he
you
bit
bit
it.
it.
Oh.
Oh.
13.
This is a 13.
I mean, yeah, you find it. It's
Yeah.
a different color than a lot of the grass around you, and also a different texture. So yeah, you find it.
Look, and it's look at this. It's this big around. Look how big it is. I mean, I'm like flopping it into your face. look, it was wrapped around me and tried to drown me.
It does not
Hey,
smell great.
Kay tries to like hip check him into the pool.
Wait, for real though?
I imagine it is not going to work because she is not big.
Lucanus looks
Roll for
over.
a hip check.
Yeah, roll opposed strength checks, I guess.
Dex?
Look, Lucanus looks over at Akili. You see what I have to deal with?
Aw.
I got a 17.
17.
Bring it on, Kay. I feel like you're about to hurt yourself.
I got a 13.
Okay, yeah, so she like booty bumps you pretty hard and you take a step to the side and you're like,
What was that? Were you trying to push me into the swamp?
No, definitely not.
Then Cedric just takes a slide to the right.
Anyway, Nadia, can you see a knoll camp maybe from
Yeah,
here?
I want to kind of look around, see if I can spot the knoll camp, or maybe the kids' trail, or just.
Yep.
Hey, that's a 15.
A 15. You feel like you can see something kind of to the southwest that looks a little different. You know, like how the previous two knoll camps both looked kind of like dark shapes in the distance. Yeah, you feel like you might see something in that direction.
There's that might be the camp that way.
You what? Peter?
I just realized something. When I was in there being almost murdered last night, it didn't burn my skin the same way the river did. So that might be like information. Maybe you guys should write that down in your books, that the swamp isn't poisoned.
Swamp not poisoned.
But yeah, Nadia has seen a direction that she thinks it would be useful for you to follow. But it is about the halfway point, so I think we can leave you there with those bits of information, and we'll take our 10-minute break and come back in a few minutes to what?
We're gonna have some discussion about this later, Kay.
Nothing happened. It was like a.
You tried to murder me.
No, I was giving you a playful hip check to see if you get startled or something.
This is where Cedric yells, "Insight check!"
Yeah, insight. I want to make an insight check.
I mean, you can sense motive her.
Ooh, yeah.
This is now a in-party 5-person urban legend conspiracy that nobody else in the world knows about.
I got a 4 on my sense motive check.
She was definitely just playing around and trying to startle you. Mm-hmm.
Kay, I am sorry for accusing you of something.
All right.
It's okay. You are forgiven.
Okay, now we're taking our break. We'll see you back here soon. Bye.
Bye.
And we're back. Hello, friends. We have returned. Hope you enjoyed your break. We got snacks. Nancy wins with her very elaborate pancake that has everything in it, I guess. But yeah, so you had just gotten to the marsh, and Cedric had shown you the plant that tried to kill him, and Nautia thinks she can see something that looks like it might be a knoll camp in the distance to the southwest.
All right. So, Akili, do you want to make your way back home yourself, or do you want us to sort of hang around and make sure you're okay?
Yeah, I feel like this swamp is pretty dangerous. We should probably escort her. Does anybody mind if we take a little detour to escort her back to her camp?
No, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
Well, Akili, does your clan are they okay with people who are not gnolls being around, or if we show up with you, is something bad going to happen to us?
Well, you said you were warriors, so that seems like a good start. And, I mean, there are lots of people who aren't gnolls out here, right? There's goblins, and there's those little, mouse people. So, I mean...
The mouse people are super cool.
Also, you talk like us, so...
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. You just never... Some people don't like... or maybe they had something bad happen to them, and they'd be afraid. And they... Do you does your clan ever interact with other clans? We already have some friends in the Fa Run clan, Barika of that clan.
Oh, I don't know them, but maybe some of the grown-ups do. Yeah. Because the boys move around a lot, right? So, yeah.
All right, well,
Okay.
let's get heading.
Okay, so you start heading in the direction that Nautia indicated, and, yeah, maybe 20, 30 minutes, after traveling southwest, you come sort of, like, you can see the camp in the distance, and you see there are some adult gnolls out in the grasslands. It looks like they might be looking around for someone.
We're gonna introduce ourselves with a mighty whoop whoop.
And that sound definitely calls the attention or grabs the attention of a large male who starts moving in your direction. And he sort of walks up to you and is sort of looking. I assume you put Akili in full view.
Yeah.
We found your kid.
Pointing at her.
She says, "Hi, Kijani," and she like runs up to him, and he like puts his hands on top of her head and looks down at her and is like, "We were so worried about you." And they sort of, have a moment of interaction in what you assume is their own language. Then he sort of like looks back up at all of you and is like, "And you are?"
Hi, my name's Cedric. And Akili, we ran into each other in kind of the middle of the swamp last night.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much for bringing her back. We were very, very worried about her.
She's had breakfast.
Thank you for taking such good care of her. And he's sort of, talking to her in their own language again. And he's like, I don't recognize any of you, but I appreciate you taking care of her. She tells me you're warriors.
Yeah. Lucanus has a sort of wistful look on his face. Lucanus has a sort of wistful look on his face.
Sorry, Ryan, what did you say?
Is it, warriors, adventurers from different corners. We wanted to make sure Akili got home, and you should probably know she wandered off due to what I believe is a wisp in the area, a floating light that drew her away from the camp at night. We saw the same thing at our camp, which is how they ran into her. So it might be something worth keeping an eye out for and informing the clan, or if you're going to be moving soon, maybe a good idea to do that and avoid this wetland area here.
There's mean things in the water.
Yes.
Yeah, these big plants that'll come up with the big nasty tentacles.
They're naughty.
He's having a seizure. Don't mind him right now. There is some kind of plant in the water that apparently, if you step on it in this shallow water, it will pull you underneath. So it's very lucky Akili did not go in the water.
He squints at Cedric while you're doing that, and then he turns back to Fletcher and says, yes, it's good to know, well, not good, but it is important to know that there are dangerous things like that around. I will let the king know. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Did you want to say anything else to him, or are you good?
Lucanus holds up a morning star. Would you guys happen to have one of these laying around? I've been looking for another one.
All of our warriors carry weapons, yes?
Would you guys be willing to part with one?
He just sort of gives you a look like...
No? Okay. All right.
Are you saying anything else, or are you turning around?
Kay also hip checks Lucanus.
Lucanus, like, nothing happens to Lucanus. He's just like a stone wall.
You don't get to roleplay that. Roll!
Yeah.
Strength checks.
A 7.
Use that advantage.
Oh, I'm gonna use that advantage.
Okay, use the advantage. Roll again.
To startle Lucanus. Come on, die. I got a 5.
see. Where's?
I'm gonna guess.
Sorry,
that
I'm looking for my strength
I got
thing
it.
and my.
I got it. Stats, strength. Oop.
Oh, there we go.
19. Yeah. Okay. She just sort of like bounces off of you.
I got a 21 on. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Either way, she bounces off of you. And yeah, he's just sort of looking at you. All. Is there? And I don't mean to be rude, but I want to get her back. Is there anything else I can?
Yeah, just real quick. We're sorry. Fletcher was about to say something, and I interrupted.
I think we might be wondering the same thing, Cedric, which is either good for you or extremely bad for me.
Oh my god, your face is so stricken.
Face is so good.
We are traveling that way. We were moving toward what looks to be like some sort of very dry, perhaps desert sort of area. Do you know anything about the area in that direction? What may be going on there, or anything odd that's been happening? Have you ever traveled in that direction? I think we're about 2 days away, 2 days out from where we're heading.
And he sort of nods, like, yeah, that's about the distance. I have not been there. I know there are strong warriors there as well. I don't know much about them, but...
Are they gnolls?
No. We stay in the grasslands where there's lots of food.
What are they?
I don't really know much about them. They are good warriors for their environment, but I like it here where there's lots of food.
Are they hostile?
I mean, I guess that depends on whether or not you're hostile.
We can take care of ourselves, but we prefer not to start any trouble if we can help it.
Do you call that area anything specific? A name? So if we encounter anyone to talk to, we can be on the same page.
The desert? No.
Yeah.
It's just
no.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad Achilles back safe, and we'll be moving on. Hopefully, we see you again.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, Keely.
So he sort of hugs her to his side, and they walk back into the camp. I'm assuming you turn around and start heading north again, or yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So Nautia sort of reorients you, and you start heading north. And maybe again, so you're not. Are you like going back northeast to get back on your middle track, or like are you sort of heading straight north from here?
I don't know. Nautia, what do you see?
Because we were never like headed for a specific point, just sort of that horizon looks like the direction that the thing is coming from.
I think we were kind of assuming that the underground river was not moving in a straight line, so we were trying to like...
Given that we are much closer now, can I make out any sort of features?
You can give me another perception check and see if you can make out features in the... You mean in the desert?
Yeah. 18.
You don't see anything, like, I guess it's more defined by its absence of features, right? It's, sort of...
Desert.
Yeah.
There's not a suspicious plume of nasty-looking smoke coming from somewhere.
No cacti?
You're not that close.
No,
Okay.
it's still
2
a
days
long
away.
walk off. It's just like if there's like a mountain or
Right, yeah.
something.
I mean, so you're, you've moved quite a bit to the west, so you are closer both to the mountains that are immediately to the west, and then also, again, the mountains go straight north for a while, and then they start to curve and go to the northeast. So, like, yeah, you can see that curve of the mountains and how they sort of border the desert from where you are, but it's not like there's a specific peak that sticks out or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, then I would guess we just kind of keep just heading up towards the desert. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so you start heading north, and yeah, after a bit of walking, I don't know, what order are you moving in? Are you going...
He's in the middle somewhere.
Okay. I mean, again, you don't have to go single file, but, like, you know.
Lucanus is bringing up the
Probably be
rear.
the lead.
Okay. So, Nautia, if you're in the lead, you encounter this place that really strikes you as rather odd because it seems like it was made. There is a place all of a sudden where the grasses are no longer tall, they're very short, and it appears to be almost in a circle. And you see those flowers, the ones that Kay was talking to you about, the spikes with the little tube flowers on them. There are quite a few of them sort of ringing this circle. It looks very much like someone planted all of this or caused it to be this way. It seems very artificial.
Kay? I think I found your flowers. I'm not gonna go like into the circle.
Okay.
Because that looks sketchy.
You don't want to go into a fairy circle? Really?
I mean,
You're not gonna follow a weird, mysterious light?
no.
I knew better than to put that on in her watch.
there's something creepy. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would sort of wave the rest of the group to stop and just kind of go up close enough to look at the flowers, but not enough to step into the circle.
Okay. So you're
Hey,
investigating
are these
the
your
flowers?
flowers? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they definitely look all circly like. Kay just like shouts into the void, "What do you want from me?"
Is she talking to
Does it
flowers?
do anything? Is that anything?
I think she is Cedric.
It didn't do anything.
It's not the weirdest thing that we've seen, though, to be fair.
Maybe you should try hip checking her.
Can I try hip checking Kay?
Sure, roll opposed strength checks. I don't care.
I got a 3.
13.
Were you trying to hip check her in a particular direction?
No.
No? Okay, yeah, so Lucanus bumps you out of nowhere and you go stumbling sideways through the grass. Not enough to, like, fall over, but, like, you know.
Do I fall like into the circle?
No, you just fall.
Circle.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I asked if he hip checked you in a particular direction.
Bruh! What the hell? You're like 10 feet bigger than me. What? Like, when I hip checked Cedric, it was a joke because it's not like I can actually do any damage to him. Like, what? Why, man?
Lucanus points at a beetle. Slug bug.
Kay, do you feel anything?
I don't feel anything, but also my dream was at night with the moon.
I think you'd mentioned some kind of stones as well.
Yeah, I think they were underground. Like, the dream was weird, as dreams often are. But it was, like, kind of underground, and then, like, we would come up and, like, pan, and you could see the white flowers, and then it was, like, overhead where you could see the circle and, like, the moon. So...
All right.
Do
Do you think I should step into the circle?
if you feel
Real quick.
safe doing so, we'll be here. Or do we stay here for a night and wait for the moon to be out and see what happens if we wait until it is like your dream?
Nautia looks very skeptical.
How-
Should I also be
how-
skeptical?
Do I know things about fairy circles?
You know many
given
things.
Do you what?
Can I, given who my circle of friends is back home,
Yeah.
do I maybe know something about this kind of circle?
Yeah, I mean, you know about fairy circles. This doesn't seem the same. Like, because you said you started investigating the flowers, like, they seem pretty normal, and, like, this grass, like, it seems like grass, but also, like, yeah, it's just, there's something about this that doesn't feel the same as a fairy circle. Yeah.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
I was waiting for that, yes.
You weren't. I was gonna.
Kay is like poking one of the flowers.
Uh-oh.
Not
step
like
up to the-
disrespectfully, she's just like touching it.
Step up to the side of the circle and use it to scan basically like across from one side across the whole thing and just try to see what I can pick up.
Yeah, so you get a magic aura of the whole circle. And then there's something stronger kind of in the center.
Is it I think I'm gonna try I'm gonna do a spellcraft skill check to see if I can detect the school of magic of the center really strong aura.
Okay.
So it's a DC 15 plus spell level for non-spell effect.
Yeah.
Well, that's not gonna do it.
No?
No.
Okay.
So I know that all I know is that it's magical, and there's something different in the center of this circle, which presumably might be where you would stand, Kay. This feels like it has a lot of similarities to what we did in that underground temple, where there's some kind of power here. But it's only if you feel comfortable doing that.
Do you think we should wait until night, or do you think I should just go for it and try and stand on it right now?
If you try it now, we can know if something happens, we know. Otherwise, I would think nothing may happen, and then we can wait and try tonight.
We have a rope, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
If it would make you
We
feel
have
safer
two
to have a
ropes.
rope.
Yes,
do that.
y'all hold on one end of this rope, and I'll hang on the other. So
This is going to be like a poltergeist situation, okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Cedric is gonna take his backpack off, and he's gonna pull out like his 50 feet of rope. And he's gonna set it on the ground, and then he's gonna say, "Wait. Okay. Do you want like I could also cast a spell on you that might help. I could like. Do you want like protection or like maybe like I could like grease the wheels and make you like a little bit more skillful or something like that?
But
which of those would you prefer?
Would that maybe interfere with whatever is going to happen?
Yeah,
I don't
that's what
think
I was
so.
wondering.
I don't think so. Does Cedric think so?
Does Fletcher think so?
You can give me knowledge arcana checks if you're so inclined. Peter, you still have an advantage on a check if you want it.
Yeah.
16 for Arcana.
Wow.
I got a 20.
20. I mean, like, it seems like a magic circle, but you're like, well, I don't think that either of those, like, those are both fairly low-level spells, what you were suggesting. Like, you don't think that either of them would, like, do anything bad. It's not like it's not like a lot of magic effects kind of are at odds with one another.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
a
there are
permanent-
magical effects that are at odd with the spells that I would cast on you, they would be evil spells. So it would be a good thing for me to protect you from. That's kind of what I'm thinking is like, we still don't really understand the nature of these visions that you're getting. It could be some kind of like evil deity trying to like, mess with your mind. So I was kind of thinking I might use some of Moradin's magic to create like a armor around your brain almost.
I will take it. I will also take the good old fashioned rope.
Sure. I'm gonna like toss you the rope and also pull out a little.
Make a
brain
use
armor.
rope check.
I guess that would be a skull.
I will
wouldn't
do
it?
a use rope check actually. Ugh.
Would this be a good opportunity for me to cast a climb check because rope?
14.
No, you're not climbing.
No.
14. Okay, yeah, you tie a knot.
Excellent. So good at this rope.
Yep. Climb is for climbing.
An actual skill for use rope.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm gonna walk around. I pull out a little pouch and I'm pulling out this kind of powder inside of it, and I'm walking around Kay, speaking in Dwarvish, to myself, like kind of under my breath, as I slowly walk around her, like sprinkling this dust on the ground.
What is the dust you're sprinkling?
Powdered silver.
Where did you get that?
I don't know.
No, because we had this conversation way back when you were dealing with the necromancer, and you were like, "I don't have powdered silver." Because
that was like 20 pounds of powdered silver to consecrate ground.
Okay, what is this?
A little powdered silver. Specifically, the arcane material component.
Okay. If it doesn't have a monetary value, I guess
it doesn't have a monetary value.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I was assuming it was just like included in a component pouch. So I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be able to, like, if we level up, I just can't cast any high level spells.
That's true. Okay, that's fair.
I'm casting protection from evil on Kay.
Okay, how does that work?
3 effects. 1, she has a +2 deflection bonus to AC and a +2 resistance on saves against attacks made or effects made by evil creatures. Any attempt to possess the warded creature or exercise mental control over the creature, including enchantment, charm, or enchantment compulsion effects, are blocked. It does not protect the effects from targeting the creature, but it suppresses the effect for the duration of the effect. So like she could still be targeted by the spell, but the spell wouldn't have an effect until a minute has passed. She cannot be attacked or touched by summoned creatures.
Okay, and this all applies to creatures with the evil alignment.
Yes.
Okay. You do that.
Well, actually, the summoned creature is
anything
that's not good.
Okay, anything that's not good. Is that true for the whole thing?
No, the first is the deflection bonus and the resistance saves are evil creatures. The second is any mind the barrier blocks any attempt to possess the warded creature, or to exercise mental control over the creature. Effects and enchantment effects that grant the caster ongoing control over the subject, such as dominate person. That protection does not prevent if the protection from evil effect ends before the effect granting mental control does, the would-be controller would then be able to mentally command the controlled creature. Likewise, the barrier keeps out a possessing life force, but does not expel one. This effect works regardless of alignment.
Okay.
Sorry.
Neat. No, that's fine.
You actually asked about.
That's all right. Good to know.
I guess I wait until the chanting is over and the circle, our own mini circle next to the big circle, has been made. Mm-hmm. And like, I kind of like step over, like, like,
is somebody holding onto the other end of the rope, or did she just tie a rope around her waist and let it free on the ground?
I assume someone picked it up. I hate you all.
I think Lucanus was asking about like not tying. I think he probably
Lucanus is holding on to the rope.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure.
I hate all of you. She like
he's kind of the go-to tug of war anchor, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, she like puts like one leg over and like just kind of like straddles it for a second to see if anything bad happens.
This is like an astronaut going on a spacewalk.
And then like puts the other foot over and then like, I don't know, unless she gets swallowed up immediately, trudges towards the center.
Okay, you trudge toward the center. Do you do anything when you get there? You stop? You keep going?
Jump.
You jump
on it.
You jump on it. You get to the center, like Mario. You walk to the center and it boing. You receive no coins.
Aw. What about any mushrooms?
No mushrooms either. Okay, yes. You jump and you land, and you are standing in the middle of this, like, what we would know to be, like, mown grass circle, with all of these penstemon digitalis growing around you.
She, like, turns to Fletcher and is like, and, like, jumps a few more times.
Penstemon digitalis is also known as foxglove beard tongue, which is, like, one of the best plant names because it's just got so much going on.
Don't eat it, kids.
Yeah, don't eat it. Digitalis is not good for you.
I like that they were like, we need 2 mammal names in this plant.
I know. What was that, Joe?
Unless you have a heart condition.
Right, yeah. If you don't have a heart condition, the digitalis will hurt you immensely. If you do have a heart condition, digitalis can be used as a medication. Yeah, so you stand there and jump, and then you sort of, like, your jumping subsides into, like, just some, like, bouncing on the balls of your feet. Just, like, hanging out here in the middle of this circle of plants.
Maybe we should wait till night.
I mean, nothing happened, so...
Hey, Kay, the spell I cast on you is probably gone now.
Oh, I thought it was like a long thing. There was like a lot of things happening. It doesn't last for very long?
It lasts for like a minute.
Cool.
Like twice as long as a person can hold their breath.
That is good to know.
Yeah.
It's a good unit of measurement.
Kay, like, takes the rope off, like, just in case, but, like...
So you're still standing in the center, but with no rope?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's just try this again later tonight and see what happens. So.
All right, so like another day of just kind of hanging out. We haven't traveled very far.
I mean, this is important to Kay, so it should be important to us.
I don't know. What do you think, Fletcher?
Do you want to stay, Kay, and try this? I'm going to leave it up to you. Presumably, we will be coming back from wherever we are heading, so we could be coming by here again.
At this point, it's probably like midday-ish. Yeah.
It's already like noonish. Do you want to just like wait and see if anything happens tonight? And if it like magically a hole opens up here and it's convenient, then we can look at it. And otherwise, we just like leave in the morning and forget this whole place even existed.
Might not be a bad idea to set up some deadfall traps around here too, while we still, have access to the bounty of nature.
Sheryl, what moon phase are we under? Like, what did we camp under last night?
That's Qui-Gon Bowers just asked the same thing, and I am looking it up.
Okay.
Let's see. So it was cloudy last night, and
many nights we've been.
The moon is waxing right now, so it's a waxing sliver. It is moving its way towards a waxing quarter, which will be like 2-ish nights from now.
Okay. Yeah. Kay, what in your dream you emerged and the sky was filled with stars and the moon was shining. Do you remember what the moon was like? Was it a full moon? Was it?
Do I remember?
Give me an intelligence check.
I don't think I remember it. I feel like I might have written it down somewhere. I don't think so, though.
I mean, I didn't hear this dream, so I don't know.
Yeah. A 19.
A 19. So you remember that there was moonlight, but you're not sure that you actually saw the moon.
There was moonlight, but I never like looked at the moon and was like, it is the half moon.
Yeah, I can't remember my dreams either, Kay.
Right? See what I mean? So like there was moonlight, there were glowing white flowers, and there were also stars. So whenever that possibility can happen, I guess.
Right now we're in a fairly small phase of the moon, so there won't be that much moonlight, so we can stay and try. Yeah, I'm wondering if this is a connection to what you saw in your dream, if it has to be a match between those things.
That would be inconvenient. What? They just
It would
expect me to
be.
like come back at like a convenient moon phase? Like who has time for that?
I'm just spitballing ideas here.
That's fair. So let's try and spend the night tonight. And if we happen to be in the magical moon phase and there a big gaping hole emerges in the ground, we can check it out. And if not, like I said, we can continue on and forget this place ever existed.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to see it tonight, then we can stay.
Thanks, friends.
Okay.
Anytime.
So you hang out here. Is there any conversation or anything you'd like to do while you're hanging out here?
We're probably gonna set up some deadfall traps.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like Lucanus and I are gonna do the like deadfall traps, maybe some hunting.
Make survival checks for me.
Oof. Big ol' 9.
Dear jerky.
Well, better than my 6.
Yeah, so remember how Cedric taught you how to make pitfall or deadfall traps and forgot to tell you to bait them? You both completely forget to bait them again this time, too.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
We're just talking so much the whole time. It's just like we're not really paying attention to what we're doing.
We're
like
we're
when-
debating. We're debating on whether or not Cedric would win in a battle with that plant one-on-one if it was like on dry ground.
It's like what, Nancy?
It's like when guys go fishing, they just talk, never come home with fish.
I can't argue with that.
Nope.
I hear
this is-
nothing to the contrary, so.
This is
Not
this is
wrong.
what men do.
Okay, so you do that. And yeah, the afternoon passes, you're all just sort of like lounging around. I imagine Kay's anxiety grows with each passing minute. You just sort of
You can
sitting
see
there.
like a spot in the grass where it's just patted down flat like a carpet.
Oh, you're just pacing. Okay, yeah.
Uh-huh.
She's freaking out a little bit. Yeah, so are any of you like napping or are you just hanging out and like doing stuff but being awake?
Lucanus is gonna try to make like a musical instrument out of grass.
Okay. What was that, Ryan?
The white flower and some of the like tall like the grass we've been seeing and things. I'm gonna just take bits of it. I pull up like a small plant and take the parts and use like the back pages of my journal to press some of the plants that were around so they dry in the back of my journal so that I can describe them and have, a little like hopefully holotype of a new species that I describe later on.
Awesome.
They are flowering, so you got all the right bits for it.
Except for the
Exactly.
the seed part.
Yeah.
Are you taking one of the white flower plants from this ring, or are you looking for one out in the ambient grassland?
Well, do I see any nearby around us that aren't like in part of that dense ring?
Yeah.
Then I'd probably take one of those. Because
Okay.
if it was the ring, I feel like I'd probably like, I don't know, have to ask Kay about it because this is a very like connected thing to her. So if there's like if they're elsewhere, I would just take one of those.
Okay. Yeah, so you pull up one from somewhere else. But yeah, there are lots of cool flowering plants in the prairie, and you haven't had a chance to do much plant sciencing, so you spend some time pressing things. And the day draws to a close. Are you building a fire and setting up a camp, or what are you doing?
Yep, definitely a fire.
Okay. And it has gotten less cloudy. There are still quite a few clouds overhead, but it looks like it's not going to rain again. So yeah, you build a fire, you set up camp, and it draws down towards dark. Are you setting watches? Is everybody staying up? What's happening?
I feel like we're all staying up. I think we all want to see what happens.
Cedric
is staying up, I'll say.
But I mean,
Cedric
we're
is
also
staying
doing stuff at night.
Yeah, we'll stay up until, hopefully we get some kind of close-ish alignment in our conditions to Kay's dream, like that we can see the moon or some moonlight and see some stars in order to see if something changes around here.
Okay. Kay looks at the clouds and is like...
All right, yeah, so you're all sort of hanging out as it gets dark, and Kay is looking at the clouds, and Kay, it's like a scene out of Kay doesn't know what a movie is, but Nancy knows. It's like a scene out of a movie that the clouds do sort of start to part, not because you're blowing on them, but just because because they were moving anyway.
Just happens to do it as she's blowing it, yeah.
Yes. And they part, and you can see the almost quarter moon, so... Naming moon phases is stupid because a quarter is half of what we can see, but it's a quarter of the whole sphere. But yeah, so it's almost a quarter moon or half of the face of it. And the light, you can see it, and there are stars, of course, in the background because we've talked about how nice and dark the skies are on Arda because there's no light pollution. And you see the moonlight and the stars, and you look towards the circle, and the moonlight is reflecting off of or causing these flowers to glow. And as you're watching, all of a sudden, in the middle of the circle where Fletcher had sensed that stronger magical presence, just a doorway, some sort of hatch peels back, like the sod and everything pops up at an angle, and you can see a hole, a doorway of sorts.
I told you it was underground. I told you that I came up out of the ground. They're freaking flowers. See, I told you, but that is freaky.
Yeah, we do seem to see a lot of interesting stuff come out of the ground when you're hanging out with us.
Besides Cedric, yes.
Well, the plant, the door.
Yeah, well, in that underground cave that you just knew about.
I didn't know about it. I got literally pulled there. It's different.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm just saying we get to see some cool stuff when you're around. Also, I just like to point out that when Kay has these experiences that seem a little weird, everybody believes her, but when I get attacked by a plant,
okay. But I'm just saying that we went back and looked at the plant. There was no evidence, as what Fletcher would say. But when we came here, there's now an open doorway. So I'm just saying.
Lucanus sort of gestures at the grass. And also, to be fair, grass.
Be fair.
Kay looks at Fletcher. She's like, do you think we can all go down the hole? Or do you think I have to go first? Or maybe I should get that rope again?
I can come with you and lead the way to make sure that there's, nothing bad down there.
Or you could let Cedric go again like you did last time.
It's true. We let Cedric go last time.
I know about underground things.
Ended poorly.
It did end,
it did.
Yeah.
Well, for Cedric.
No, everybody got hurt. You all fell in the hole.
Oh, we all did. Okay, you're right.
Everyone fell in the hole.
Everyone. I forgot about everyone
trap,
else.
One of my favorite traps.
Yep.
And none of you had rope.
That too.
But we got by.
I have rope now.
I don't know. Maybe I should just tie the rope to myself again, and then kind of like inch towards the hole. What do we feel? Do you all want to go in?
Yeah, I mean, if there's another trap, you're pretty light on your feet, Kay.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe with all this armor on, I tend to weigh a lot. So if there's gonna be a trap, I'm definitely gonna trip it.
Well,
So maybe I should go first.
And if anybody should make it in, though, I feel like it should be Kay. And though I do feel this entrance seems to have been activated because of the presence of moonlight and stars coinciding. So I think we should all be allowed in, but I also think we should make our way back out before the moonlight is no longer visible and the sun starts to rise, because that may be what causes this to close again.
So we should go now, before it
All
closes.
right, let's
Quick,
go
quick.
Kay just like forgets everything that she was supposed to be doing and just like hops the circle and like looks down the hole.
Okay, so no rope, no nothing. You're just
Nope.
looking in.
Lucanus is standing directly behind her.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, Nautia's gonna kind of hover over her shoulder.
Okay, Cedric.
I'm gonna pull out my. It looks like a little handkerchief, and I'm just gonna like wave it over Kay real quick. Cast aid or resistance on her.
Okay.
The material component for resistance is a miniature cloak, which
That's
is
amazing.
a dumb material
Because
component.
everyone just carries around little like Barbie
doll
cloaks.
clothes.
with
Yeah,
them.
exactly. I stole this off a doll, and it's a piece of cloth.
Okay.
Just like what a cloak is. It's a piece of cloth.
What does resistance do?
She has a +1 resistance bonus on saves
Okay, for
for a minute.
a minute. Okay. Okay, so it's Kay, and then Lucanus and Nautia, and then Fletcher, Cedric.
Little min.
I mean, I'll be. It's a hole in the ground. I'll be on the other side of the hole, looking down.
Oh, well, it's like a clamshell open kind of dealio. So you can't look down. It's not like a well. You can't look down from all sides. So.
I kind of want to see
presumably,
Cedric
three of the
wearing like a.
sides you can.
Well, yeah. Okay.
I kind of want to see Cedric wearing like a little Superman cape now.
What were you gonna say, Peter?
So are there stairs?
Yeah, so those of you with dark vision, and even, I guess there's enough light for low light vision as well, so, Fletcher might be having the hardest time, but the flowers are glowing quite a bit, so you can even sort of make this out. There do appear to be stone stairs, going down into the darkness.
Can I try and detect a trap?
So you look for traps by doing search checks. Would you like to do
Yeah.
Can I do a search check too?
You can, but remember that only people with levels in Rogue are able to detect traps of a certain difficulty or higher. So you can certainly search if you'd like, but your chances of finding a trap are much less.
Okay. Search. You said a search check, right?
Correct. And you're doing this at the top of the stairs?
Yeah, I'm not stepping a foot in there until
Okay.
Every single stair. It's another check.
Check.
I got
How about this
a 19.
19. This does not appear to be trapped in any way.
I got
She,
a
like-
22.
It does not appear to be trapped in any way.
She like closes her eyes, like squints, and like puts a foot down. You know when you're like not sure if the stair is gonna break out from under you, and is like, and like kind of like skimmies down on her butt.
Okay.
She's not feeling the stairs.
Okay. Yeah. So you start doing that and seem like stairs.
I guess she'll just make it to the bottom on her butt then.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's a pretty long staircase. Like last time, it seems like this might take you pretty far underground. Is everybody following her, or are you just hanging out up top watching this happen?
I'm following her.
I put a candle in my my hooded lantern, and walk right down the stairs when she started. And
Cool.
if she's still on her butt, I probably pass right by her and keep going down the stairs.
After Fletcher passes her, she like kind of like shifty eyes and just goes after. Like stands up.
Amazing.
Oh, good.
Okay. Yeah. So, The stairs under your feet or butt are stone, reminiscent of the last time you ventured underground chasing Kay's dreams. But this time, the walls are different. Instead of stone, you see, feel, and smell bare sod on either side of you. The soil is held in place by an incredible mat of long plant roots penetrating deep underground. Because grasslands are super cool in that the roots underground can sometimes be quite a bit longer than the plant that is above the ground. Prairie soils.
Water and stuff.
Really, really cool.
Yep.
I see lots of emphatic nodding from the plant guys. Yeah.
And they're growing from all the old biomass built up from those grasses, so the soil is like wonderful.
It is beautiful soil. It
would be nice if we had. It would be nice if we had
destroyed it in
intact
the Dust
grasslands.
Bowl.
Yeah, we did. It's also an incredible carbon sink. So,
All right.
Not that Lacedes is a planet where the Industrial Revolution has happened, but if that were to someday become a
Thank
thing,
God.
yeah, I know, right? It's so
Yeah.
refreshing.
But does it have capitalism? Because we could make our campaign just destroying capitalism.
Dude, you're from Tenebria. Like, there's definitely capitalism.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Fletcher
And
might leave the party and go
General
destroy
store.
capitalism.
Lucanus is all about seizing the means of production.
I mean, specifically Lucanus' backstory, you probably don't love capitalism.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Kay works in a store. Like, her parents own a store. So capitalism serves her well. Capitalism has served Fletcher well. I guess it's also served Cedric well because many of his family members are small business entrepreneurs.
It's true,
Those
but I
don't
imagine
have
there's
to
a lot of
operate in a
bartering going on.
capitalistic way.
Yeah. We're just trading goods between family members, basically, right?
Oh, okay.
We're a very self-sufficient
What
people.
about the woman who did your laundry at home? Laundromat?
Aw.
Did you pay her?
Yeah, we fed her. We gave her room and board.
Yeah.
She
All
used
the
to live in.
That's
All the
only-
rats she could eat.
That's the only backstory character that you've made up on stream that I remember, but it's because she's the best.
Oh no.
Oh,
You did
God.
this to yourself.
She was
Peter.
she was like an aunt to me. I mean, just like the long hours that we spent me telling her stories about Moradin while she washed clothes are very important to me.
And given what Cedric tends to do with his clothes, I mean,
And she was so kind. She was very worried about my voice. She would say, "Oh, Cedric, you really shouldn't strain your voice like that. You should probably only talk about Moradin for like maybe an hour or so, and then go find some other children to play with." But I would never abandon her to being bored. So I would power through and keep on reading from the scriptures for her. She was very appreciative of that. I know.
I mean,
Okay.
So it's held together by roots.
Yep. There's lots of roots.
yep.
God.
And we are just gonna root around down there.
So if you hang out on Roll20, you'll be able to see not much of anything right now, but you know,
A square.
I mean, yeah, you can see yourself standing on the stone stairs. I almost said wooden. Was like, no, they're not wooden stairs. There's stone stairs. And you are approaching the. Let me do the thing where I reveal. God. You are approaching the bottom. So now you can see. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 35, 40, 45, 50, 55? Sorry, because you all have 60 feet of dark vision, right?
Yeah.
Why is it not
Except for
revealing?
Fletcher.
But his lamp is lit, so.
His lamp is lit. Why did it not reveal? Rude. There we go. Okay, now you should be able to see stuff, right? Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so you are approaching the bottom of the stairs. Kay, are you still looking for traps, or are you just scooting?
I'm gonna look for another trap because we know what happened last time.
Okay, give me another search check.
I
And you have advantage if you so desire.
got a 17.
A 17. Does not appear to be, or there do not appear to be any traps down here.
She like squints and like puts her foot tentatively on the bottom stair.
Okay.
Or bottom thunk, just in case.
And as you put your foot on the bottom stair, you feel a slight depression, like the stone was loose, and you hear a noise from above you, and you look up to see that there was in fact some sort of wooden structure above your head, and this strange sound happens. I don't really know how to explain or describe it, as several snakes fall from the ceiling and land on the ground in front of you and also on you.
He screams. Screams. Ah!
And I need you to roll initiative.
I hate all of you.
Insert sound of snakes falling.
I don't
Thunk.
even know. Yeah, it's like yeah.
Just something from
Slap.
snakes on a plane.
Something from Snakes on
Snakes in
Plane.
a dungeon.
Snakes in a dungeon.
Now we all know why she like tentatively touched the thing.
Yep. And I'm gonna add a snake because Qui-Gon Bowers spent points to get an extra enemy, so let me...
I hate you. Qui-Gon Bowers, I thought you were our friend.
Hey, Nancy, what was your check when you were looking for traps?
17.
Man, you didn't detect that? That must have been
That
like a higher level trap.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, why are there so many snakes?
Well, because
Because
Qui-Gon...
of Qui-Gon Bowers.
Well, there were only 8, and then we added one, so now there are 9 snakes.
it's so symmetrical now.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
now we got a 3 by 3
was
grid.
just
That's very
so
true.
few snakes.
Which, by the way, if we ever get to the point where we can get Samuel L. Jackson on as a guest, we are going to recreate this.
Snakes in a temple.
There are too many damn snakes in this hallway.
It's an Indiana Jones type moment.
Well,
I was
also if we
gonna say, that's
solve
not the one I go to.
Yeah.
if we solve this whole planar problem, too many motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Oh, we can travel to planes where there are airplanes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
On this plane of existence, the material plane.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
On the material plane.
I'm hilarious.
So hilarious. Oh, wow. Okay. So, anybody have an initiative over 20?
Yes!
Yes.
I got a 21.
21 for Kay.
Hell yeah.
She was ready for something to go wrong.
Right? I told you I was so ready. I felt it in my bones.
Felt it in your
In your
bones.
butt.
In your butt.
I felt it in my butt.
I felt it in my butt.
Anybody with an
I never realized that Baby Got Back was actually a song about surveillance.
15 to 20?
I got a 16.
16 for Lucanus. 10 to 15? Silence. 5 to 10?
I got an 8.
I
Oh,
also have
wow.
an 8.
Ooh, who has
Ooh.
a higher dexterity?
My dex is 14.
My dex is 12.
Okay, so let's see here. Fletcher, and then Cedric. Nautia, what did you get? 2!
Well, for somebody who has cleric abilities, that's not bad.
She's a druid.
She's a druid. But
Yeah, but I mean, she can heal, so...
Oh, well, yeah.
I do have a healing tool at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Oh god, now I have to write down all the colors of the snakes. Pink, yellow.
For the viewers, there's blue, red, blue, green, green, purple, orange, red, pink, and yellow.
So we're standing at the bottom of some stairs, and there's just a hallway filled with snakes in front of us.
A nice little square of snakes.
So
In a
square.
square, yeah.
Green.
I am just an elf standing at the bottom of some stairs, wondering why there are so many snakes.
There are 9 small vipers in front of you.
9?
9?
Do any of us know what a viper is?
That is a great question.
Because I was just about to ask if we could tell if the snakes were poisonous,
Can
and then
I-
you said they were vipers, and now I'm like,
Venomous.
Venomous,
Thank you.
Peter.
or venomous.
Well, you would probably try to eat them.
Eat it.
So
Thank you.
probably
Thank
are
you.
worried about poison.
You can make
Can
you can make a knowledge nature check on your turn, if you'd like.
Okay.
But
Cedric just bites one of the snakes back.
I mean, let's be honest. It's either Warhammer or bite attack. Those are my two things.
what the? Oh my gosh! Hold on, please hold. I did not. Oh no! Where is
What?
it? Where is it? Ah! Sorry, I did not write down the number of hit points for the snakes.
Like 1.
I was gonna say they're not very many. Do small viper. Okay, now I know. Okay, so Kay, you're up first. Snakes raining down all around you. What would you like to do?
She swears for her free action and I guess swipes at the one in front of her with her sickle.
Okay, roll your attack.
Yeah. Just, yeah.
I want to know who Kay swears to.
17.
17. Yep, that hits.
Yay!
That means you get to do sneak attack damage. Snake attack damage, because they haven't gone yet.
Yeah! Whoop. How does that work again? Hold on. I haven't... hold on. I have two versions of the character sheet, because I have, like, the important bits of the one that I drew up, and then I think
you have 2d6 of extra damage at this level, but I will check.
Yeah.
That
Sneak
sounds
attack,
right.
yeah, 2d6.
Cool.
Is that 2d6 in addition to the 1d6 that I'd roll, or is it just 2d6?
Yeah, it's 2d6 in addition to your weapon damage. Yeah.
That's a lot. All right.
Yep.
5, 9, plus 6, 15.
Holy smokes. Yeah, you just, like, dice it into tiny pieces.
Whoop!
You dice it into many tiny pieces. They're just snake parts flying everywhere.
So
Aw.
prepared.
Snake hadn't even done anything to you.
So prepared, okay, guys? Paranoid. Y'all laughed at me, but this snake is in pieces because I'm prepared. Y'all sleeping back there.
There goes our chance of getting Steen ever on the podcast.
I do not condone killing snakes IRL, but it's D&D, so we've already killed lots of things that I would not condone in real life.
Maybe they wouldn't have even attacked us. They're just little noodles.
Little noodles. I guess we'll see.
Maybe they shouldn't have come from the ceiling. How are they still alive? How long have they been up there?
That's
but
it's a very good
I
point.
knew you were going to ask that, damn it.
Also,
I feel like you
after
gotta
this,
set up.
after
What?
this battle's over, we all know that these snakes are going into our meat stock.
Yeah, Cedric and Lucanus are
Yeah.
making us snake stew.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is free food.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Kay, you chopped the snake into many tiny pieces. Are you doing anything else with your turn, or are you good?
Where's she gonna go? She can't go anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, because she can't go anywhere without triggering an attack of opportunity, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so she's just gonna like have her sickle and be like, ah, back.
Okay, then it's Lucanus's turn.
So, is there, since these are relatively small enemies,
Uh-huh.
if I use a big weapon like a greatsword, does that give me any sort of disadvantage?
No. Like,
Okay.
So it's not the size of the weapon, it's the size of the creature. So the size of the creature changes its AC, but
Gotcha.
that's already, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do the rage thing.
Okay.
So, form change, and then I'm gonna use the greatsword and go for red and blue.
Okay, how?
What?
You are in the second row of people on the stairs right now. So, how are you going to get to that snake? Because it is in front of Fletcher.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna push past him, so I'm gonna go for pink then.
Okay, so you're moving next to Kay over here and going for that snake.
Yep.
Roll an attack. That's just the damage. You need to roll the attack first.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Are Fletcher and I in the same square?
No, you're one
behind
behind
me.
him. Yeah. A 15 hits, and we can use the 16 damage. Yeah, you also chop a snake into many tiny pieces.
Huh.
Please come on our show, Dr. Steen.
Tell us why what we're doing is wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so that one is also zerstört. Okay. Then it is Fletcher's turn. Fletcher, there's a snake in front of you on the floor, and Kay is screaming and hacking snakes into tiny pieces.
There is a snake.
In fact, there's a line of 3 snakes in front of you on the floor.
That's very true. I wish I had better spells.
Quarterstaff it seemed to work well for you in previous.
I think I'm gonna try to make us a nice little pot of buttered noodles and cast grease in the middle of all of it.
It's back!
Yes.
Okay, what are we doing this time?
I'm making
Buttered
a.
noodles.
I'm just putting out a big greasy puddle that will last for. It says 1 round per level, so it should be 3 rounds now. I'm level 3. On the blue snake, the center of where these 9 snakes are sort of stacked, it's a 10-foot puddle which will cover all of the snakes, the whole hallway.
And part of the walls.
Yeah, and they have to make reflex saves in order to really be able to move it all, because they can't really fall. But I'm assuming this probably means they just won't be able to get traction, since snakes are moved by gripping, with that undulating motion. They'll just be grabbing onto grease.
Oof, 7 reflex saves.
Well, we'll get there when we get there. They don't have to make the reflex saves now, do they? It's when they try to move.
When they attack, yeah.
No, it's a reflex save, or they fall or can't move for them. Or they can move at half their normal speed with a DC 10 balance check.
Okay. Okay.
It says creature in area must make reflex save or they fall each turn they spend in the area. They can move at half normal speed with a DC 10 balance check. Failure means they can't move and must do that reflex check.
Okay. So they can't fall, like you said, so I won't do the reflex saves now, but if they try to move, then okay.
Yeah, if they try to move, they have to check whether they get to move at half their speed, and if they fail that, then you have to check of what do they fall or what other thing may happen to them.
Okay, cool.
Now, is this going to affect us?
If you move into that space, yes.
Yeah, any creature.
So that is, I will draw a square. So it's all of this where the blue square is around the snakes, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if you move into that area, you will be slip sliding away. Okay. Fletcher does that. Cedric, there are snakes in front of your friends.
Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of stuck behind Fletcher. I want to ask a question. Did we establish in the previous fight where Fletcher used grease that grease is flammable?
Yes.
Because we set the 10 on fire.
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes.
did.
We've
I would like
established
to
that
grab
several
the candle out of Fletcher's lantern and throw it over his shoulder into the grease.
times.
Okay. Make a dexterity-based attack, so a ranged attack.
Okay. So that's Dex plus
Base
or
attack.
just
Dex plus
Okay.
base attack.
okay. According to my character sheet, my base attack is 0.
What?
That's what's on my
At least 2.
a ranged attack. Okay.
Well, you're...
Oh, right, yeah.
+1. Right?
Third level cleric should have a base attack bonus of +2.
Okay, alright. Then it's a 14.
Okay. Yeah, you hit, and it lights the grease on fire.
Fried snake.
And all of the snakes take...
Yeah, I don't know why that's not updated on my my Roll20 character sheet, sorry.
That's okay. All of the snakes take a lot of damage for snakes. They look very crispy. They're not dead, but they are on fire.
And the one that Kay already chopped up is cooked now.
Yeah.
And we got dinner.
Oh, now that's sufficient.
Smells like
yeah.
snake bacon.
Snakin'.
Bacon.
Okay. That was Cedric. Now it's the snakes.
The grease. Would the grease be gone now? He just burned it up.
Yeah, I think do a.
It's magical, but it just got used.
Yeah.
I think that's a good argument, especially because you're making it, so I didn't have to.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
I mean, I think it makes sense. I produced it, and it's just grease. I mean, it's...
Yeah. Okay, so... yeah, so the snakes will move. They're slithering closer. And those three will boom, boom, boom down the line, make attacks at Lucanus, Kay, and Fletcher. I put my D20s away because I thought you were gonna kill them all. All right, Lucanus, it reaches out and tries to bite at your ankles for an 11, which will miss. Kay, for a 10, which probably misses.
Yeah, I have a 16.
And Fletcher for a 19, which probably hits.
Oh, being the wizard.
Okay.
Why on me? Both of those other two attacks on YouTube would have not hit me.
Right, yeah. You take 1 point of bite damage as its very tiny little fangs, grab your ankle under your robe, and I need you to make a fortitude save.
No, I'm gonna get poisoned.
Okay, I'm right behind you, man.
19.
All right, you do not get poisoned.
Or envenomed, I should say.
Or
Yeah.
envenomated.
Well-
You do not get Yep.
And some snakes, or actually a lot of bites that people get, are dry bites. So.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that was that. Okay, well, the snakes suck.
Hopefully.
Nautia, it's your turn.
Because, okay, they're all crispy but not dead yet.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll spike in, because, Fletcher's not right up against me. I just can't really get in, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's right on top of him?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I can kind of sneak in there. Yeah, I'll just hop over in front of Fletcher, I guess, and hit, what is that, pink and blue with 2 claws?
Sure, yeah. Yep, because you're a small creature, you can share an ally space.
Yeah. Alright. That's a 9 and 10.
9 and a 10, no, they will not hit.
Nope. That's it.
Okay. Kay, there are more snakes!
Apparently not feeling this
So
one.
I guess I look at the crispy one in front of me and slash my sickle at it again.
Okay.
I get 17 plus 5.
Hits.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah. Hits. Regular damage.
Regular damage. I got a 4.
Okay, yeah, you destroy that crispy snake as well.
She hasn't stopped, just wildly flailing in front of her.
You didn't even attack it. It just somehow, for some stupid reason, moved in front of you, and you just were still doing.
Yeah. It's like, I imagine her like, you know, like it got greased and then like all the flour went poof, and she was like right there, so her hair is like sticking out and her face is
Yeah.
Eyebrows totally gone.
Which, by the way, that's a really important point. Nobody on the front line has eyebrows right now.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and the snake, it's like sticking your hand in between a fan blade. The snake just like comes up at Kay and she makes it into confetti.
Yeah, what actually happened there was I tried to get in and make a claw attack and just was so busy dodging her.
That's totally fair. Lucanus.
All right. So I'm gonna stow the greatsword and pick out my hand axe and my morning star.
Okay.
So, and I'm gonna be making some two-handed attacks.
Okay.
So, do I need to roll 2 d20s?
Well, roll 1 first, because you're attacking the red one, right?
I am going to move right.
Jeez.
This might be a bad decision, but I'm gonna move right in front of Kay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Why? I'm flailing wildly. Like, I'm not stopping. So if you move there, like, there's a good chance that you're gonna get hit with, like, stabby stab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kay will stab you in the back. Cedric knows.
She has a history.
Yeah.
But I also have like 30 hit points, so.
Ooh, 30 points.
I did 15 to the first. Okay.
Okay, it's not letting me move. How do I?
That's weird. It should your character should be under your control. I can move you though. That's fine.
Yeah.
You're moving here, right?
Oh,
all right.
sorry.
So yeah. Nope. All right. So what did I roll for?
Well, you rolled a natural 20, so roll another d20 to confirm your critical hit on the snake.
Snake has 1 hit point. I'm gonna turn it into paste.
Yeah, I got an 11.
Plus all of your attack stuff will definitely be another hit. Yeah, you turn it into paste. Was that the purple one or the red one that you were attacking?
So again, two-handed attack. So I'm gonna attack 2 different critters.
Oh, okay. Well, which one did you attack first?
The one on my left.
Okay, so that one is gone. Okay, so then try rolling your weapon attack this time on the second one, so we know for sure.
All right,
I'm just gonna roll the attack whateverness is.
Okay, so I'm just gonna roll the morning star.
That was just the damage, and also your morning star probably would have been your first hit, and the second one is your offhand axe attack.
Oh,
but
okay.
Anyway, but that was only the damage roll. Anyway, you need to roll the weapon attack first.
Oh, okay. So weapon attack. That's the 20.
Plus a whole bunch
9.
of. No, because it's going to be plus a whole bunch of stuff. Let me do it.
Oh, I thought that it. I'm sorry. I thought that it added everything.
That's okay. Hand axe. Okay. And it rolled a 13. So that misses with your hand axe.
Aw.
Yeah. Okay.
That's okay. I still got one of them.
Yep. Fletcher.
I'm gonna cast a ray of frost.
Okay.
Are we chilling it for later?
We need refrigeration.
Oh, nice.
I forgot to
Actually, yeah.
I forgot to do this last time, but since you're casting a spell in melee, the snake gets to bite your ankle again.
What?
Oh, did it crit?
Always on me.
No, that happened to Cedric. That one fight, the one fight where Kay shot me in the back. I did that. I cast a spell in melee and got crit and died.
Fletcher, does a 12 hit your AC?
It does.
Oh no,
it meets it.
That's a confirmed.
It meets it.
Oh, no.
So you receive 2 points of damage.
Oh, that's the best crit that has ever happened to anyone. Yeah.
You're the only one who's taken damage so far?
And
Yeah, so.
I need you to do another fortitude save.
Yeah, I got a 17 on my fortitude save.
Okay, that also saves.
I feel like every time when the snake bites him, he gets to just like stomp his foot down on it.
All
Yeah,
right.
can I just do a stomp attack?
Now you can finish casting your spell.
Okay.
Should really invest in some boots.
So that was a 21 on the attack roll.
Yeah, that hits.
I just really like the image of Lucanus with like his intimidating cloak and then like 2 cowboy boots sticking out of the bottom.
Fletcher, is this on the snake directly in front of you?
Sure. It's 2 cold damage.
2 cold damage. You at first it was crisped and then it was frozen and it just like curls up in a little sad snake ball and is dead. Cedric, there's a lot happening in front of you.
Oh wait, well, can I? I'm also going to move.
Oh yeah.
Since I can just move past allies.
Yep.
Since that thing is no longer by me, I'm going to step over here.
Fair enough. All right, you move out of the way. Yeah, Cedric, there's a lot happening in front of and around you.
Mm-hmm. Is Nautia in front of me?
Yeah, she was sharing the space with Fletcher, but you also could share a space with her because she's small.
I don't know why Roll20 is showing Fletcher to be like 1 square higher.
Yeah, I
than
was seeing
you
it
all are all
different.
okay.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
That's
to
weird.
me, he's appearing in this square.
Oh.
To me.
That's where I am
Yeah,
now.
that's what I'm seeing too.
Oh.
So I am. Yeah, I'm behind. I'm in line with you now. I was in the front. I was in the front
Cedric
line
is-
at the bottom of the stairs. I just took a step back up the stairs and moved.
Yeah, I saw
behind
you two
Kay.
sharing a space before.
Yeah, Cedric
Oh
is
no,
right
I was
here
always.
for me.
I came down the stairs with Kay. I was in front of everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not what I'm seeing on Roll20.
Well, here we
Oh,
are.
now it's letting
But
me move.
it's weird. Anyways, so Nadia is still in front of me though.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
and then in front of Nadia there's an empty space, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can I move through the same space as Nadia?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, all right.
Unless she
Then-
tries to stop you, but yeah.
Nope.
Cedric's gonna be like, excuse me.
The
Squeeze by.
Midwestern. Oop, let me squeeze by you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, just let me sneak it past here.
Okay, yeah, wow. A natural 20. Roll to confirm.
11.
Plus, what's all your attack stuff?
It's
2 plus, or yeah, so another 3?
yeah.
Okay, so 14 would not hit, so that's not a confirmed critical, so it's just a regular hit.
Okay.
So it was 4 damage, so 2 damage.
Yeah.
Or, what is...
I don't know how it's reading out on Roll20. There's so much stuff in that calculation.
Yeah, I'm
It's
very...
8 crit damage. So I think it's 4 times 2, so I think it would be 4.
Okay, so 4 damage. Okay, well, that's,
Yeah, 4
it's
damage.
enough to destroy the snake. So, snake is dead. Bloop. Okay,
That's my turn.
that's your turn. And that was a warhammer, right? So you just...
Yes.
Yeah, this crispy snake, your warhammer comes down on top of it, and there's just like a puff of ash that comes out from under the warhammer.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's the snake's turn, so I don't know, sure, this one will move up here, and those will be there, and they will make bite attacks at Kay, Lucanus, and Cedric.
No.
Kay, that's a dirty 20.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, you take 1 point of damage and give me a fortitude save. You still have an advantage gift left over if you'd like.
Oh,
to.
excellent. 15.
That saves. Okay. Lucanus, it bites at you for... Nope, that's not gonna hit. And Cedric, it bites at you for a 14. Okay. That was the snakes. Nautia. There are only 3 snakes left now. Only 3.
Yeah, sure. I can share with Cedric, right? Share
Yeah.
space.
Mhm.
All right, cool.
We're friends.
You're both small.
Well, yeah. I'll hang out and I'll try 2 claws against that guy.
Which one?
The
The one
blue-green
directly in front of us. So
Yeah.
the blue green, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. 10 and 11.
Nope. Yep. It's kind of hard to like maneuver when you're
Yeah.
sharing a space
Yeah.
with someone, and
It's a
Yeah.
little awkward.
Cedric's like,
There's a lot going on.
Mhm.
sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were there. Here, let me
Still
just.
also dodging K, and like Lucanus
Yes.
is there now, and I just don't.
Yep, there's a lot. Speaking of
In
which,
fact, can I move back a little bit at the end of that turn? Just
you get an attack of opportunity from that snake, but yeah.
no, I'll say it then.
Okay. Okay, it's your turn again.
I will swipe viciously at the orange one. I was stopped from flailing when Lucanus stepped in front of me.
Okay.
But I have yeah. With the with their sickle, and I got an 8, so I missed. Very distracting, Lucanus.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Okay, now it's Lucanus's turn.
All right. So
If I take a 5 step backwards, I don't get an attack of opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll move back.
Mhm. All right, Lucanus, what are you doing?
I just. Oh, that is not gonna hit.
Nope.
Nope.
So-
That one
But that
will.
one will.
Okay.
All
So which one were you attacking?
The one right in front of me.
Okay, that one is dead. Goodbye.
Bye, Snaky.
Bye, Snaky. Fletcher, there are 2 snakes left on the board. One is 10 feet in front of you. The other one is directly in front of Cedric.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to shoot another ray of frost at the one right in front of me that started coming up the stairs and bit at K.
All right.
I feel avenged.
The 15.
That's a ranged touch.
Yes.
Okay, then that hits.
Okay. 1 cold damage.
That was enough. Goodbye, snake. Snakesicle. Cedric, there's 1 snake left in front of you.
All right, I'm gonna try it. Warhammer it is.
Okay.
That does not hit.
No, that does not hit.
Mm-mm.
But it's gonna try to hit you. Snake.
Nick.
Nope. It also misses you. Just a real,
It's so
There's a
little.
whole
This
thing over
last
here.
one is so little. It's so hard to hit.
just like zooming back and forth.
Like
It's slippery and it's crowded.
Nadia, do something about this snake.
Look at it.
All right,
End this
two-
pitiful
2
fight.
claw attacks. Hey, that's a 20.
Yep, that'll hit.
Yep.
Yay!
And you claw.
Do I need to roll damage?
No. You claw the last snake into ribbons, and the corridor is quiet unless anybody is screaming or breathing hard. But like, there are no more snakes.
We solved your
I
snake
feel like
puzzle.
Nautia would have screamed at that last one. Ah!
Well, you have defeated the snakes in the first trap at the bottom of the stairs in this, we don't know what this is. We can just see, you can see a corridor, and you can also see, I don't know if you're able to see them on the map, but there are, as far as you can see down the corridor right now, there are at least 2 hallways or doorways or something off, one on either side. So we will be able to come back and explore those next time when we play on Halloween. Halloween.
Ooh.
So please come back and join us on Halloween, same time, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna dress up as one of your favorite NPCs, or one of my favorite NPCs that y'all voted for on Twitter like a long time ago, and I've been accumulating costume pieces ever since. Hopefully the rest of the cast dresses up. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. I'll dress up something.
Awesome. Yeah, I have prosthetic ears and everything. It's gonna be awesome. And yeah, so come back and catch Arda again on Halloween for episode 31, where we're in the spoopy underground someplace, so it's a good thematic Halloween time. Tomorrow you can catch Peter and myself as well as 2 special guests here at 11 a.m. for the Wagadu Chronicles one-shot that we'll be doing. And then let me look at my calendar because there are lots of things happening. Let's see. On Thursday, Joe will be playing Pokemon again, and that's at, I don't remember what time. That's at 9 p.m.
7.
Eastern.
Yeah, 7
p.m.
Mountain.
Yeah, so 9 p.m. Eastern. Joe plays Pokemon on Thursday. Emily will be playing The Last of Us Part 2 again at 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, and then we have Burn on Sunday, and then the next Arda campaign. So we got a lot going on. Lots of good stuff to hang out on here for. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here right now, but thank you so much to everyone who was watching tonight. We really appreciate you. You guys are awesome. We appreciate the questions and all of the hanging out in the chat, and thank you for giving our friends advantages and things on their rolls. And thank you for buying an extra monster for that encounter. One extra snake wasn't so bad. It could have been like an extra bugbear or something, and that would have been not great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so thank you all for being here. Don't forget you can check us out on podcast and YouTube if you want to go through the backlog of our episodes and whatever. You can follow all of these lovely people on social media. Their handles are down in the reference section below. And yeah, keep checking out the panels below our Twitch or on our Twitter for updates about when we're going to be doing events and things. Other than that, we will see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.